Tonight, two of the NBA's premier one-on-one players will be on display north of the border. It's the all-out speed and wide-open style of New York Knicks player Latrell Sprewell. Taking on the high-flying aerial action of Toronto's half-man, half-amazing Vince Carter. Oh, Canada will be on fire tonight. It's the Knicks against the Raptors, next on TNT. It's the holiday season, and Toronto is covered in snow and geared up for a rematch of last season's NBA playoffs. The Air Canada Center will be filled to capacity for an Eastern Conference showdown, with the New York Knicks taking on the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks have won 2 consecutive games, 5 of their last 6, and Toronto is coming in off a nice win over Indiana on Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. Happy holidays. Kevin Harone alongside John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager from Toronto. Well, 23 months ago, Latrell Sprewell became a New York Knick, and bringing with him a ton of baggage. But since that time, 2 Eastern Conference Finals, 1 NBA Finals, and now a position change. They've given him the keys to the offense. He's taken the place of the injured point guard, Charlie Ward. And Danny, since he's been manning that position, the Knicks have gone 6-2.
Well, it's about time is all I can say. Latrell Sprewell started out very poorly this year. The first 11 games shooting 32%. Since then, they make him a point guard, and all of a sudden he's shooting 49%, and they're winning. And if they get in any trouble, if the defense makes him dribble 2 times with his left hand, for example, then they have Chris Childs to come in and bail him out at the point guard position.
But the Knicks have been playing well. It's got to be more than just Sprewell.
Well, Sprewell was playing so bad early in the season. Glenn Rice wasn't creating any offense for him. So Allen Houston came to the rescue. Offensively, he's their leading scorer, averaging 19.5 points a game, shooting over 40% from the three-point line, doing everything for him offensively. One of the main go-to guys along with Sprewell. And then you have Marcus Camby at the defensive end. Very solid. Blocking shots, rebounding, and shooting a very high percentage around the basket. So, and then you have Larry Johnson, who's finishing the games, making a lot of big shots for him.
Well, there are some big changes for the Toronto Raptors. They've got a new coach. In fact, John Thompson, a guy who joins you in the Hall of Fame, Lenny Wilkens, a very calming influence on what was kind of a volatile situation here a year ago.
Well, a new guy, Kevin, but not new to success. It amazes me how frequently the best coaches in the NBA are mentioned and his name is excluded. When you look at his record, I think it's astonishing to see that this guy is the greatest coach in the history of the NBA in terms of winning. He's one of 2 guys to be in the Hall of Fame, both as a player and as a coach, the other one being the great John Wooden. When you look at the top 50 greatest players in the NBA, Lenny Wilkens is there. When you look at the top 10 greatest coaches, Lenny Wilkens is there. When you look at the coach of this team, they need somebody like that. And, hey, a change is coming born.
That's right. But, John, this has been a Toronto team making the playoffs a season ago, a little inconsistent this year.
Well, very inconsistent. But when you have the second leading scorer in the NBA out for 5 ball games, when you have the newness of players coming in, as they have had coming in, look, Vince Carter, the greatest player that they're probably ever going to have in this franchise, is getting adjusted to being out 5 games. But as Lenny said, it's going to take me 20 or 30 ball games to really identify the personality of this team. And we're getting close to that number, Kevin.
Well, there are few players that can captivate a crowd like Vince Carter. He truly is half man, half amazing. We go to Atlanta next with Ernie Johnson, then back north of the border for the Raptors and the Knicks on TNT.
CNN Sports Illustrated, the sports network more people are switching to. Call your cable or satellite provider.
Just a bit of magic. Oh, you gotta see it. Slightly unexpected. Perfectly perfected.
Digital palm quarter with 3-way PC link from Panasonic.
Oh, just a bit of magic.
I am the fire Firestorm cordless multi-tool. I am 3 tools in one. I can saw, I can sand, I can even drill. I'm a one-man construction crew, and that's just the way I like it. I am the multi-tool. I am built by Black & Decker.
Come on, Dad, get up!
A new Christmas classic is born.
How did I get here? This isn't my house.
The Family Man is touching, soulful, and hilarious.
Oh.
Not only the perfect holiday movie.
You want me.
That is the general idea.
But one of the best films of the year.
God, you're beautiful.
Nicolas Cage. Ta-da! The Family Man.
Have a great day.
Rated PG-13 at theaters Friday, December 22nd.
I wish you well.
Go ahead.
This holiday season, I wish for happiness and prosperity for our family and peace on earth.
I wish for a grill guard, a tool set, floor mats, ooh, seat covers.
Pep Boys has what guys want. Custom alloy wheels in stock from $69.99 and 35,000-mile tires 4 for $99. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Stories of pride and passion. Stories so powerful we had to make them into movies.
I will meet our enemies face to face. I will not surrender.
There's been an accident. All hands lost.
I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
I trusted you. I got the look.
Hitler did not know what took place in the concentration camps?
TNT, the best movie studio on television.
All right, the Knicks and the Raptors are on the way here on TNT. One of just 3 games in the NBA tonight. Welcome to Studio A in Atlanta. I'm Ernie Johnson. Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley will be here at halftime. And I strongly encourage you to watch at that time because Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton will join us, sort of, in what is truly a testimony to the impact of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday marketing campaign. Also, Charles will share his thoughts on that list of the most powerful people in sports. All of that at halftime. But straight ahead, we're going to take you back to Toronto. The Knicks with Latrell Sprewell. The Raptors with that man, half amazing. Next.
What'd you get for 26? C. 68 and 74. C and C. 57. C.
Pencils down.
Right down the center. Not so great for taking tests, but great for collect calls. Dial 1-800-CALLATT and you can save big bucks.
How'd you do on the test?
Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
They come to us for many reasons. Because we save them money on what they need with their everyday low price. Because we help them solve their problems and get them back on the road. And because we stand behind the parts we sell with a warranty that's good at more than 2,500 stores coast to coast. Fact is, people everywhere come to us because we're AutoZone, the largest auto parts retailer in America. And there's just no place any better.
Magical gifts to stuff your stockings with. Turn on the fun. Best Buy.
Still getting dandruff flakes? Maybe the problem is your dandruff shampoo. Try Neutrogena T-Gel Intensive Anti-Flake Shampoo. Fights flakes 3 ways. It may not be your first dandruff shampoo. It will be your last. Neutrogena T-Gel. It works.
Want to know what's on TNT? Then sign up for the Hot List. Twice a week, the Hot List tells you about the best shows on TNT. Just go online and sign up at TNT.Turner.com. The Hot List. Sign up and tune in.
The NBA on TNT, brought to you by Best Buy. For more fun in your life, come to Best Buy, where you'll find the latest in digital technology. Best Buy, turn on the fun. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. By 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. And by Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo. It works.
It's a battle of heavyweights in Toronto. The Knicks and the Raptors, or a matchup of power forwards, Charles Oakley and Kurt Thomas. Charles Oakley sent a message to Kurt Thomas today. He said, if you try to shake my hand, I'll deck you and call it self-defense. Thomas responded, you don't have the guts to meet me face to face. Oakley then got in the final word, questioning Thomas's manhood.
I said a lot of things, but, I think that, he was trying to say some, back and forth about New York, this and that. Hey, man, I was in hell a decade, so whatever you do, I wish you luck, but start mouthing on. I probably did say play like a lady, whatever, You can probably wear wigs and everything, too.
To avoid a confrontation, a break in tradition, instead of both teams exiting out of the same tunnel tonight, the Knicks and Thomas have been ordered to go out a different entrance. Kevin?
All right, Craig, thank you. Sprewell, Houston, Johnson, Camby, and Glenn Rice will be in the starting lineup for the New York Knicks in Toronto with Jackson, Vince Carter, Oakley, Davis, and Williamson. Our referees here tonight in Toronto, Bernie Fryer, James Capers, and Rashawn Michelle. And we are underway, and the former Knick, Charles Oakley, gets it off to Vince Carter. He's picked up immediately by Latrell Sprewell. Danny, how about Toronto early tonight?
Well, they usually try to go to Corliss Williamson and get him going down in the low post at the small forward position.
That's rejected by Larry Johnson.
Well, he knows Oakley can't put it on the floor, and Oakley shot the ball very well in his last game. He was out here working on that three-point shot. What's the league come to, Coach? All the power forwards shooting threes.
That's because all the small guys aren't passing the ball inside.
5 seconds to shoot, and that is missed by Carter. Retrieved in the corner by Camby. And we'll get our first look tonight at the New York Knicks offense. And again, here's the point guard, Latrell Sprewell, who would prefer to play the 2 guard, the shooting guard. But this necessitated with the injury to Charlie Ward. Knee surgery a couple weeks ago, out 5 more weeks. Marcus Camby, who was drafted by Toronto, 5 to shoot, down the baseline, and can't get it to go. The rebound by Oakley.
Well, that kind of shot would turn Sprewell back into a 2 guard. He
yes.
Well, this is a good matchup for Sprewell, too. Mark Jackson defending him. He can't put any pressure on him. Even in his young age, Mark wasn't one of those kind of pressure defenders.
Mark Jackson nails a 3-point shot. He is a career 40% 3-point shooter.
And I tell you what, somebody better go out there and put some pressure on Mark if he keeps shooting like that.
Well, Mark has really struggled with his outside shot this year, but he had a spectacular year last year with Indiana.
A New York Knick turnover picked up by Oakley, down court for Carter. Setting up over Houston and buries the jump shot. And just like that, the Raptors on top 5-0.
Well, and that's a good sign for them, man. This guy missed 5 games, second leading scorer in the NBA. In order for Lenny to have success with this team, he's got to get off, and everybody's going to play off of him.
Rice picked up by Williamson. And here's Sprewell, who is one of their best low-post options. Into Marcus Camby. Nice defense inside by Antonio Davis.
Well, great cut by Marcus. He just wasn't able to finish the job. He's one of the best in the game at timing that weak side cut.
Williamson inside over Glenn Rice. The Raptors have shot and hit 3 of their first 6.
They need Williamson to score. That's why he's out there, to give him a low post present to start this game. And at the small forward position, he typically has an advantage.
Sprewell on Oakley. There's a mismatch, and Sprewell will try to exploit it. Another miss, and New York has started 0 of 4. Carter, Jackson, he's hit 1 3, and he can't make it 2 in a row. Camby tries against Davis, loose inside, and the hustle is Sprewell digging it out, and the Knicks the other way.
Well, not only is Sprewell playing the point guard at the offensive end, he's got the tough job of trying to defend Carter at the other end, so he's got his hands full tonight.
I would say so. Just at one end, he has his hands full having to guard Carter. But, at the offensive end, I really wonder when a guy who's basically by nature a 2 guard has to do the thinking better to control the offense as opposed to looking to score.
Good offensive rebound by Camby. New York, the worst offensive rebounding team in the NBA.
Well, Coach, one thing about New York's offense is they don't run a Utah type of offense, and the game is very easy for their point guards. They just start the offense. They don't make all the decisions. as you see right now, the ball's in, now he's in a normal position where he plays the 2 guard, just isolating on the wing.
Are you saying the first guy that gets the ball shoots it?
No, not at all, but they don't have to make decisions. They have a lot of decision makers on the court.
New York Knicks have started this game 0 of 6. They've had some pretty good looks as well, and here comes, with 8:30 to play in the first quarter, Mark Jackson. Carter picked up by Sprewell. Camby is guarding Antonio Davis, the ex-Indiana Pacer. Inside, Camby gets the loose ball with the whistle and a foul blown inside, and it's called on Toronto. And they put it on Corliss Williamson, his first. Well, we welcome those of you watching across the great country of Canada tonight on TSN. Had a chance to watch some of their work last night. Those folks do an outstanding job, and it's great to have TSN with us tonight as we are in Toronto. Rice working on Williamson, feeding off to Houston. Guarded by Vince Carter. And Houston setting up. And that is New York's first hit tonight. It took him 8 shots to put it in.
Well, it's also the first time they've gone to Allen Houston. You know, the first 2 possessions, they went to Camby on the ball side, and basically he's a weak side player. But if you want to make some baskets, I think you better let Houston Camby touch it a little bit more.
Under 8 to play now in the first quarter as Oakley feeds Jackson, who came as a free agent from the Pacers. And here is Antonio Davis. He came in a trade from Indiana.
But that's another big man going to the corner scoring. I wonder whatever happened to hitting a guy, Danny, a big guy in the post. We've all become 3-point shooters now.
Well, you know, Antonio Davis was they missed him bad in Indiana last year in the playoffs. They could have used his strength and muscle, but they decided to go young. Toronto has been the beneficiary of having the experienced veteran inside player.
Rice puts it in. Rice is now starting his 12th game this season for New York. At the beginning of the season, he was coming off the bench. It's Oakley over Larry Johnson. Charles Oakley nails it from outside, and now all 5 Toronto starters have scored in the game.
And that was a post-up play. He posted up from 18 feet, fadeaway jump shot, but that's Charles Oakley's post-up game right there.
So posted up and ended up shooting at the 3-point line.
Oakley's put 2 great games together, including a 22-point performance Tuesday against Indiana. Deceptive move by Houston. Nails another one. He's got 2 in a row.
Well, and I think that's a part of watching Sprewell play in the 1 position is who you give the ball to, especially in your early offense, because you got to get the ball to the guys that can shoot.
Oakley hampered on top. Williamson, who came in a trade from Sacramento. Vince Carter again. And Carter from outside has gone 2 of 3. He's got 4 for the Hall of Fame coach Lenny Wilkens, taking the place of the ousted Butch Carter. And it was a volatile situation here. Remember last year, Carter during the playoffs wanted to sue someone from the Knicks? What a mess. It's cleaned up now. Charles Oakley, who has a feel for both teams. He spent his best years in a Knick uniform, now in Toronto, giving the Raptors a 7-point lead.
Hey guys, give me a hand carrying this stuff up to the 3rd floor?
Love to, but we're late for this thing.
Yeah, sorry. That's cool.
You know, those stairs are kind of tricky. Yeah. Oh, I got this. That's it. Mind if we help ourselves to some of your underwear?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
I don't need you guys to help me unpack.
Make it a Bud Light.
Well, it's Monday morning, and it looks like the whole world is heading back to work. We've got a couple of tie-ups on the freeway, some construction downtown.
Come Monday, we all need a little coaxing.
As a new era unfolds, the New York Knicks must come together to prove they are a better team. In a city impatient to capture past glory, the Knicks must look to the future and show their critics, as well as themselves, they are not to be ignored.
Watch The Pretender every weeknight at 7 on TNT.
Lenny Wilkens is the NBA's all-time winningest coach and the only coach to win 300 games with 3 different teams. 478 in Seattle, 316 while with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then 310 wins with the Atlanta Hawks. And now comes up to Toronto as a calming influence on somewhat of a young team. I mean, they've got impressionable players, but boy, John, they've got some wonderful veterans like Oakley and Jackson. You talk about stewardship, they can certainly give a rudder to this team.
Well, definitely so. And I think, as I said at the top of the show, it's going to take some time with a lot of confusion, which they had at the end of last year. It's going to take some time for things to settle in and for him to get himself in a frame of mind and get his team the way he wants it to be.
The Knicks have shot 33%. Houston flipping it to Rice outside the lane. Caught by Camby. 8 to shoot over Oakley, and he can't get it to go. Oakley gets another rebound. And he's got 2. The Knicks come into tonight having won 2 consecutive games and 5 of their last 6 games. They've been playing well. Toronto, all 5 starters have scored. All have at least 1 rebound.
Well, and that's part of the problem, Kevin. I think that in order for the Knicks to be successful, they have to change the pace of this ball game. Anytime it's a half-court ball game, I think it's to Toronto's advantage because they don't have a fast team offensively or getting back defensively out there.
Williamson picks up his 2nd foul.
Well, that's not so bad. They got Mo Pete ready to go, the rookie coming in over there. He's been playing great for him, and you know, he's not the prototypical small forward anyway. Corliss Williamson, he's not a perfect fit, so they have a good bench that'll come in and help.
Larry Johnson missing a 3 right there. He had 2 key threes Saturday at the Garden against Denver, which led the Knicks to a win. Jackson driving inside, the rebound by Sprewell, 3-on-2.
So that's just stopping the rebound, and that's what I'm talking about. They got to get down and get fast break baskets. If they play at half court, I think it's going to be much more difficult and more to the Raptors' liking with this lineup that they have in there.
Allen Houston has not missed a shot. He is 3 of 3.
He's got a beautiful jump shot, and you know, with the new rules in the NBA where you can't hand check the guy at that medium post like he made his first two shots, guys that can shoot and have that kind of length are very difficult to match up with.
Larry Johnson and Oakley were wrestling underneath the rim. And out of bounds, he goes with it. Just an out-of-bounds play.
Well, they have to guard Sprewell. He's so great in the open court, and when you got 2 shooters out there, Houston wide open, he's feeling it from that mid-range jump shot area.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They better guard Houston, too, along with Sprewell, as much time as he had with his range.
Houston's been hot. Here comes Glenn Rice, knocking one in from outside. Rice, who is a poor 3-point shooter on the road, knocks in a 2 right there, and the Raptors' lead is cut down to 3.
You know, the thing I love about Glenn Rice, though, is no matter how bad he's shooting the ball from the 3-point line, every coach in this league still honors him, and they still spread the floor. It opens up the offensive rebounds. It opens up penetration, and I think the Lakers right now really miss his presence on the court.
Rice picks up his first foul. Here comes Carter dancing into Sprewell, out to Jackson, and into Williamson. Rebound by Oakley. Lost it inside as he bumped into Camby. Picked up by Carter. Contortion. Foul! He's something else.
Well, that's a great play by Carter, but it's a great play by Charles Oakley keeping that ball alive. And that's why I have a big problem with Charles Oakley shooting so much from the outside, because it's hard to get to the offensive boards when you're spotting up at the 3-point line, and that's one of his strengths.
Well, you take those shots out there when you have guys like Danny Ainge that won't pass it to the big fellas inside.
No, but that's why he's supposed to chase down my misses.
Rice with the miss right there. Here comes Mark Jackson, one-time NBA Rookie of the Year and a long-time Knick in his early stages of his NBA career. Williamson again. Poked away by Rice. Shot clock is down to 8 with a drive inside. Rice reaching and picks up a foul, and now he has 2 for the New York Knicks.
Well, and the only legitimate outside scorer that the Raptors have on their team, as Danny was talking about, is Carter right now. And the defense realizes the fact that in order for this lineup that the Raptors have out there, you got post-up basically guys in there, and they can look to help inside.
Chris Childs will check in. Kurt Thomas is in the game. And you remember the report by Craig Sager to begin it. He and Oakley hate each other. A 2-second mark on the shot clock, and it was beaten, and it's a 3 by Vince Carter. Carter is shooting 41% from 3-point territory this year.
And, you know, when he learns to shoot that, if he consistently can shoot that, you know, with Reggie Miller type of percentage, that guy's completely unguardable.
Now he is guarding Sprewell with the bump, and he forces Sprewell out of bounds. John, he's doing it on both ends of the floor.
Well, and I like that. And that's a little bit, again, of what Lenny has missed. But Danny alluded to Reggie Miller-type offense. Isn't anybody in the league that can shoot like Reggie Miller could when he could really shoot the ball?
Carter with a nice move inside. 9 points for Vince Carter.
Attention sports fans, it's CNNSI.com's Beat the Experts College Bowl Edition fantasy game. The first to pick all 25 College Bowl champions gets to tell the experts your mama wears cleats on game day. Log on and play today.
When cold winds begin to blow and storm clouds start to grow.
With its legendary four-wheel drive capability, Jeep Grand Cherokee can go where no ordinary 4x4 can.
Stop looking and start an exciting new job with great benefits. GE Card Services in Merriam is now hiring for customer service representatives. Finally, a friendly working environment without the pressure of selling. Work with team members, earn competitive wages, and enjoy great benefits that start the day you're hired.
Thank you for calling. We do appreciate your business. Come join our winning team. Call us at 1-800-437-6046 for immediate consideration.
No faith.
I don't go to church because I don't believe God.
A curse with no reason.
I have holes through my wrist.
So she receives another wound, she's going to die.
Patricia Arquette, Stigmata.
After 500 years, the questions live on. The Messenger. This December, give in to temptation. Order Cinemax and the Movie Channel and get the best of both worlds.
Vince Carter not only leads Toronto in scoring, he led the U.S. Olympic team in Sydney this summer in scoring, and that was a great team.
And when he's shooting the ball like that, he's unguardable. That's good defense by the Knicks. They're contesting every shot. He picks up the loose ball, takes that one to the hole, which is still the strength. When he's shooting this jumper right there, like I said, he's got Reggie Miller type of range when he's shooting 41% on the year. I don't know how long he can contain that this year with that consistency.
Well, and the other thing about it, Kevin mentioned that he was in the Olympics. We talked about the downside of his missing 5 games, but it's an upside to it also because he had a terrible summer as far as time is concerned. He had an opportunity to rest, Kevin, when he got those 5 days off.
That's a good point, John. A lot of those guys came back from Australia tired and worn.
Very much so, because it continued right in from last season.
Illegal defense blown on the New York Knicks. Toronto last year won the regular season series against Van Gundy's Knicks 3-1, but come the playoffs, it was a clean sweep by the Knicks in the first round over the Toronto Raptors.
And Carter had a very difficult time making the outside shot in that series, and that's what I'm saying. If he can make that shot, I know he can on occasion, but he's got to do it consistently.
Corliss Williamson with a great series of moves to corkscrew his way inside and get 2.
Well, and it was really a great move because of the lineup that they have, and I don't understand why the Knicks weren't able to give help, because you don't have to stand outside on the other players that the Raptors have in there.
Childs flips it out to Sprewell for 3. Good! Sprewell knocks it in from downtown.
Ooh, and that's a good bonus for New York right there, because he's been shooting miserably from the three-point line. But getting back to Toronto's low-post offense, Rice has 2 fouls, and they're not protecting him. Corliss should continue to get the ball to try to put pressure on Rice.
Kurt Thomas, a good defensive player, working on Davis. Childs is working on Jackson. Shot clock is down to 7. The screen by Williamson, the give and go inside. Pick and roll inside won't go. And Davis bouncing against bodies. Can't get it. Tap in try. That won't fly inside by Williamson.
That's a good call by the official. James Capers right on top of that. Corliss was trying to clear space for his second or third attempt underneath the basket.
Well, you can't tell me that Jeff Van Gundy isn't angry about that, because you don't let the team get 3 and 4 offensive rebounds, and particularly when you look at a team that you know that is virtually just going inside other than Carter.
Williamson has 3 fouls for the Toronto Raptors, and so now he is out. Morris Peterson, the celebrated rookie from the national championship team at Michigan State, in the game. Backing inside is Johnson, feeding to an open Childs, who knocks in a 2-point shot.
Larry Johnson, a very good decision maker when he gets down there on the block. The only time he runs into trouble is when he has longer players and bigger traps. He has a tough time passing at him because of his height on the block.
Sprewell on Carter. Childs is on Jackson. Shot clock down to 10 with about a minute to play here in the first quarter. Oakley. And Jackson for three. He's knocked in one, but he's missed two. Good offensive rebound by Peterson. Another try for Jackson. Will not go. And that's out of bounds. And Jackson can't hit from 2 point-blank range shots. And tonight's key stat is field goal attempts and free throw attempts by each team.
I love that stat.
Especially the attempts. Especially the attempts he likes.
Well, the reason is Toronto is 7th in the league in field goal attempts. New York is the 29th worst team in field goal attempts. I'm sorry, 28. So, you know, they like to play at a better pace. Toronto does. They like to get up shots quicker. So we'll see who wins the pace battle.
36 seconds to play here in the first quarter. A first foul has been put on Charles Oakley, and there is Larry Johnson. Johnson, who is averaging a career-low 10 points a game, has made 15, now 16 consecutive free throws.
You know the thing about Larry Johnson, Coach, you always say it. It's not how many you make, it's when you make them. Larry Johnson is very unselfish, but you can see, look at the free throw attempts here. They are the 29th team in free throw percent and free throw attempts, but yet they're the first in percentage. So they've got to try to find a way to get more free throws. But again, they're getting less shots on goal, shooting the fewest amount of free throws, and that has a lot to do with the pace that New York plays at.
And the style of offensive play that Larry has, Danny, underneath, he's got to make shots because he's going to draw a lot of fouls. So it's great that he can put those free throws in.
No question.
That's the third turnover by Toronto. The New York Knicks are on a 7-0 run right now.
But Larry makes a lot of big shots. You know, his numbers are down this year, but he still has the confidence of Jeff Van Gundy in the clutch because he's made so many big shots for him over the years.
Chris Childs maneuvering around the defenders and exploiting the rookie Peterson, and knocks it in. And the Knicks now, who at one time in this first quarter, trailed by 10, now to within 1 point with 10 seconds to play in the first quarter.
When Charles comes in again, you see more pressure on the ball. That was an example of pressure that I meant. But you see more pressure on the ball because he loves to be aggressive, loves to go out. Jeff said that about him when we talked to him in practice today, but he's got to be a little bit more prudent in how he makes his fouls and when he makes them.
But that was a good foul because they had a foul to give. They didn't want to work the clock, so that was an intentional foul by Childs right there.
Here comes Carter trying to beat the buzzer, and misses the shot, reeled in by Rice, and that'll end it. These two teams have a long history. The very first NBA game ever played was at Maple Leaf Gardens here in Toronto in 1946. They faced each other in the playoffs. They've got players that have played for each other's teams. There is a lot of emotion when the Knicks and Raptors get together. At the end of one, it's Toronto on top, 2019 on TNT.
Where will I be when they knock on my door? Where will I be when the aces are four? Where will I be when fate asks for a day?
One day, you'll find a place where you know you belong. Will you be ready? Understanding your credit is the first step toward owning a home. Call for the free guide on credit from the Fannie Mae Foundation and for a list of lenders and credit counselors.
We're on the chilly shores of Lake Ontario here in this holiday season. That's the CN Tower there in the back with the NBA on TNT from the Air Canada Center, with the Toronto Raptors leading the New York Knicks 2019, and a lot of big hitters in the audience tonight, like heavyweight champion George Foreman.
Hey,
with a lot of food.
Is that guy a twin of Charles Barkley or what? I mean, two great athletes, two better entertainers, and two incredible appetites.
Two good guys.
I'm going to leave it alone because both of those guys are pretty doggone mean.
That was his pregame snack, by the way. You should see what he's got spread after the game. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Craig Sager. Initial miss as we begin the second quarter. The Raptors have Davis, Carter, rookie Morris, Peterson, Oakley, and now Alvin Williams on the floor. And they love Alvin Williams in Toronto. The Raptors have missed the last 6 shots they have taken. Out there for the Knicks, Sprewell, Childs, Thomas, Larry Johnson, and Glenn Rice. A small lineup. Peterson outside. And tap-up try won't go for Oakley. Out of bounds. It ricochets and off the New York Knicks. So a fresh 24 for the Toronto Raptors.
And you can see as soon as Mo Pete comes in the game, Oakley goes down to the block where he's on the offensive boards to keep the ball alive, because now they have 3 perimeter players out there. But they're not as under control with Alvin Williams and Morris Peterson in the game, but they have a lot more energy, a lot more excitement, and they make a lot more things happen.
Well, and I think the Knicks realized that because they extended their defense and came out and put more pressure on Williams that possession. I also liked that possession as far as the all-around defense of the Knicks. Thomas did a great job on denying the ball from coming into the post.
Antonio Davis is taking an exit, and Kevin Willis coming in for Toronto when we come back with the Raptors on top by 1.
My George Foreman Grills, America's favorite grilling machines, are #1 on everyone's list. Moms want them, dads want them, grandmas want them, even college kids. It's great for the whole family. Start the new year out right. Knock out the fat for healthy meals that will be appreciated every day. Fish, chicken, steaks, even veggies, they all come out tasty. My George Foreman lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine. Find them in all your favorite stores from coast to coast. It's a real knockout package.
Raptors have missed their last 8 shots, yet they lead by a point over the New York Knicks. 37% shooting for Toronto, 44% shooting for the New York Knicks. Willis is in, as we said. Toronto with the 3rd youngest team in the NBA.
That's amazing.
It is, with Willis and Oakley and all these other. There's an interception by Rice. And he'll flare his way into the lane and feed to Larry Johnson. And here's Chris Childs. Remember now, Charlie Ward out for another month, maybe month and a half with knee surgery. And Larry Johnson dazzling inside with one move after another. Working on Oakley inside, and a foul is called for a second time on Charles Oakley, who earlier this season served a 3-game suspension for belting a player, Jeff McGinnis, before a game.
Well, and looking at this shot, Larry did a great job of getting Charles up in the air. Larry realizes he's a good free throw shooter, so he really took this shot with the idea in mind of getting the free throw more than making the attempt. And that's an experienced ball player for you. 18 consecutive free throws now by LJ.
What I don't understand is how could Charles complain about that one? He was riding him like a cattle.
Now New York has their first lead tonight, 21-20. They're on an 11-0 run. And Toronto has been horrible from the field over those last 3 minutes. Now they've trapped Carter and Alvin Williams, who came in a trade from Portland. Working on Childs, bumping into Johnson, feeding to Oakley on top, and he knocks one in over Glenn Rice atop the key.
Oh, that was a good shot. As a result of the Knicks trapping and moving around, being a lot more active, Oakley was able to get the kind of shot that he likes, that little set shot out there.
Morris Peterson is trying to joust inside with Glenn Rice, and Peterson, who is from Flint, Michigan, picks up the foul. By the way, that Toronto hit as Camby checks back in the game. Breaks a drought of almost 4 minutes. Larry Johnson will take a breather. So Camby, Thomas, Rice, Sprewell, and Chris Childs. Childs playing the point. Sprewell will play the 2. And gets around the Camby screen, slashing to the baseline, and makes it work on the fly.
Well, that's a beautiful drive. It couldn't stop his penetration, but that's a tough shot, fading away from the baseline, not being able to use the glass.
It's a very tough shot, Danny, and I also like it when Sprewell is in a shooting mode, more than I like him in a passing mode, because he has so many variety of ways in which he can score. When he plays that point guard, I think he has to think a little bit more about other people.
Sprewell playing some defense at the other end. Great interception by the athletic Alvin Williams, a kid who played at Villanova. And outside, it goes to Oakley for 2. Good. Oakley has got his outside shot dropping. He's got 6 points, and he's gone 3 of 5, mainly from outside.
Well, you can see why Oakley's only shooting 33% from the year with all those jumpers. He never was a great inside scorer, even when he got offensive rebounds, because he just doesn't have the elevation. So his outside shot has got to improve.
Oakley coming off a Toronto high 22 points on Tuesday. Rice with a deceptive move inside, but it can't buy him 2. Oakley with another rebound. Carter, hold on for Peterson. Oh, what a play!
Well, and that's an example of putting a faster and a smaller team, a younger team in. They didn't get hardly any transition baskets before Peterson came in the game, and now that he's in, they're able to get transition baskets.
Usually Carter's the one that is the beneficiary of these alley-oops right there, but there he throws a perfect one. Bounces underneath the rim, actually. How that ball got up over the rim is amazing, but great athleticism and speed up the court by Mo Pete.
I think he's a little better off at receiving alley-oops than passing alley-oops.
So that was pretty good pass right there, though.
Morris Peterson is the 5th leading rookie scorer, and now 6th after last night in the NBA.
Terrific college career, 5-year player at Michigan State. They won the national championship there, and you know, he's more mature than a lot of the young kids coming into the league now.
Lenny Wilkins really spoke highly of him today when we spoke to him. He's looking to him as the future and as the season moves on.
Childs outside, and Alvin Williams late to get there, and a 2-point shot by Chris Childs, who said he was distracted when he automatically didn't inherit the point guard position when Charlie Ward went out with the injury.
Well, you know, this big guard lineup has been talked about so much in the New York media and by all of us, and as a potential the last couple of years. This really gave Jeff Van Gundy an opportunity to experiment with that big guard lineup.
I tell you what, they better experiment on putting somebody on Charles Oakley right now, because I tell you, he's going crazy out there on those 3-point shots.
6 points in the second quarter, 8 for the game for Charles Oakley. He's approaching the 8.5-minute mark of the first half. Here comes Sprewell, coming off a season-high 29 Saturday against Denver. Childs driving inside, collides with the defense of Oakley, who gets the rebound, triggers it off to Peterson. Oakley on top. Why not fire? Thomas comes up on it.
He wanted to shoot.
I know
that.
he did. Here comes Childs, 2-on-1 with Thomas to the trailing Thomas, flying over Alvin Williams and makes it go.
See now, Danny, that's a smart guard. He comes down, he has the layup, but he feeds the big man.
Well, because that Alvin Williams was going to smother chicken that lane against the glass.
Oakley.
I guarantee you he would have shot that if he could have, but he would have got a block.
Peterson misses the 3, and here comes Chris Childs the other way. Childs sprints a bounce pass, beautiful feet inside for Kurt Thomas.
You can tell me that's smart. That's a good vision right there.
And it's smart.
I agree.
It's
That's
smart.
a great
He's
pass.
feeding the big guy.
Well, you know, this big guard lineup, we keep talking about it. It's had some success, but it's had some really bad moments, too. And right now, they're actually playing better with Chris Childs running the point. But, you know, it gives them another option at the end of games.
Well, and I like Sprewell better when he's in a think-shoot mode as opposed to being in a position where he's thinking about setting other people up.
There's a travel on Vince Carter. That is the 7th Toronto turnover. Wonderful feed by Childs gives the Knicks a slim 1-point lead.
What do you think of the jacket?
Get ready to party like it's 1985.
Go get her.
Watch Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore in The Wedding Singer, Saturday at 6, only on TNT.
Right.
Responsive Chrysler Sebring Performance Sedan. Proof that it's not the destination. It's the drive. Now, during the Chrysler Holiday Sale, lease the Sebring LX Sedan for $259 a month.
Okay, who are you?
The milkman?
Do you have a sidekick?
No.
A nemesis?
A what?
A bad guy?
I'm a people person.
Have you been fighting crime long?
I don't fight crime.
What do you fight?
Osteoporosis. A never-ending supply of milk. And chocolate milk.
Want strong bones? Calcium may help prevent osteoporosis.
Gifts that bring out the fun in everyone. Turn on the fun. Best Buy.
The New York Knicks bench tonight has been dynamite. 10 points, 5 of 6 from the field. Here, 2 bench players go in for 2.
And you see right here, Alvin Williams is going to go block that shot. Child sees he's going to block it, gives it back to the trailing Kurt Thomas. Great finish. And then they come back down on the Knicks transition, and you see Kevin Willis is in perfect position right there. He would have had a deflection had his arms been normal length.
But give Childs credit. He understands that if you want that big guy to run the floor, you want him to rebound, you got to give him a little hay every once in a while.
Allen Houston, who began the game 3 of 3 with the miss, and Morris Peterson has it. Corliss Williamson back on the floor with 3 fouls, with Willis, Davis, Peterson, and Alvin Williams with the ball right now. Childs is on him.
And that's not Allen Houston's strength to just catch and shoot. He usually likes to face, jab, 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 then shoot. Take his time a little bit. That time he rushed it. Good defense by Morris Peterson.
Gamby on the floor with Childs for the New York Knicks, Thomas, Sprewell, and Houston. Just under 7 to play here in the first half. 43% shooting for the Raptors, 43% shooting for the New York Knicks. And a travel. We've seen 2 now in the last minute or so.
Boy, that's what happens when you get a little anxious. I think Allen realizes he's got that rookie on him. They called his number. He went under to try to post him to take advantage of it. And sometimes when that happens, you're a little anxious out there.
And that little rookie did do great defensive job on him. Much easier than he had it earlier with Carter guarding. He gave him room for the shot.
Defense, Lenny Wilkins told us today, is Peterson's only deficiency right now. And they got Willis driving inside. Tried to scoop it up, and Thomas was the one to belt it and draw the foul for the New York Knicks. And that is the first. We talked about New York rebounding, or lack thereof. Tonight, Toronto, John, had 17 rebounds to the New York Knicks 8, a difference of 9 rebounds in the game.
Well, and I think New York puts a lot of different lineups in the game. You know, they get out there defensively. They try to be very aggressive, but sometimes they're denying the post. Sometimes they're playing behind the post. I think as a result of a lack of a shot blocker, sometimes you're out of position because a lot of times guys are fronting the post, guys are denying the post. Kevin
Willis with the Toronto Raptors' first 2 free throws tonight. And here comes Childs with the Raptors on top, 30-29. Been very close here in the second quarter. It was a 10-point lead for the Raptors in the first. Another bounce pass, Childs, Canby, Thomas, torn away by Williamson, and now Toronto's got a 3-on-2. Williams, Peterson couldn't catch it in mid-flight. Williams open for 2.
Well, there's another perfect alley-oop to Morris Peterson. He almost missed the first one, and that one he did miss, but he was able to recover it. Great athleticism. We love the energy that he brings to the game.
Raptors have assists on 13 of their 14 field goals tonight. It's Rice jousting with Williamson. Shot clock at 6. The drive, the lean, the scoop, the tap-in. Uncovered Kurt Thomas inside.
Well, both of these coaches have to be dissatisfied with what's going on the offensive board. You can't defend, let somebody miss a shot, and then they start getting that many touches on their own offensive board.
Well, a lot of it is happening, too, because of the breakdown on penetration. Right there, Rice knew that Corliss Williamson, he's playing with 3 fouls, knew that he wasn't going to try to foul him, went right by him. Weak side help came, nobody blocked out.
The New York Knicks are coming off a 4-day break. Had a couple days off, but they're flying inside with plays like this by Kurt Thomas off the bench. Raptors by 1.
The all-new responsive Chrysler Sebring Performance Sedan. Proof that it's not the destination. It's the drive. Now, during the Chrysler holiday sale, lease the Sebring LX sedan for $259 a month.
Oh, no! The city of Townsville is under attack! This is a villain so evil, so sinister, so vile! Evil, evil, evil! You're in sin! 500! 500! You're sucking mouth! Go, girls, go! Silly monkey. Haven't you been watching the Powerpuff Girls? Part of Cartoon Fridays. Hooray! We're safe! Only on Cartoon Network.
Behind the wheel lies the thrill of Toyotathon 01. Get to this blockbuster event for great year-end values on Toyota trucks and SUVs. Like Tundra, just $349 a month for 36 months and only $2349 due at signing. Leases a roomy, full-size, I-Force V8-powered 2001 Tundra. Toyotathon 01. Oh, yeah. It's back.
at your Toyota dealer now.
The NBA on TNT, brought to you by Chrysler. We're reinventing the passion for driving. By Wendy's Spicy Chicken. When you're hot, you're hot. And by Adidas.
Now let's take a look at the Pearl Vision Canadian Open on TNT.
Michelle Kwan versus Sarah Hughes. Todd Eldridge battles Alexei Yagudin. The countdown to Salt Lake City continues with the Pearl Vision Canadian Open. Sunday at 1.
Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock, and later at 9 o'clock p.m. here on TNT. Kevin Harlan with Hall of Fame coach John Thompson, NBA All-Star and NBA champion Danny Ainge, and the Emmy Award-winning reporter Craig Sager and our entire crew up here at beautiful Air Canada Center in Toronto. It's the Raptors by 1 over the New York Knicks. The Knicks, one of 4 teams in the NBA with the winning road record. Alvin Williams with the miss. Rice was inside. A gauntlet of New York defenders trying to battle with Kevin Willis and crew. Chris Thomas was in there whacking away, and Thomas comes up with the foul. Danny, does that surprise you? One of 4 teams with winning road records in the NBA coming into tonight?
I mean, that's ridiculous. There's some really good teams out there. You know, San Antonio struggling winning on the road, but you see right here, Utah always plays consistent basketball, one of the most consistent teams in the last 10 years. Portland, a talent, but how L.A., Phoenix, San Antonio, those teams have losing road records. It's mind-boggling to me.
I tend to look at it after the All-Star break.
You said that last year, too, and you were right.
After the All-Star break.
Rebound by Houston. Raptors come into tonight 11 and 10. Knicks come in 14 and 8. This is the second meeting this season between these two. Toronto won the first, 79-75. Rice for 2, right between the eyes.
Went around him the first time, and now he goes over him. You know, I just think that Corliss is not agile enough, particularly on the perimeter defensively, to guard Rice. But that's where he can do damage. I'm sorry, Kevin. Inside with that physical force.
John, a nice feed from the center. Antonio Davis inside to Corliss Williamson.
Well, that's the only way those big fellas ever get the ball sometimes, if another big fella gives him the ball.
Oh, come on.
Childs. He can't touch it because he lost it. Now Thomas gets it back for him, and here's Houston on top. He'll work against the rookie. The drive, the fake, and the lead. Willis with the rebound. Kevin Willis in his 17th season out of Michigan State. Alvin Williams with a little crossover on Childs down the lane. Can't get it to go. Willis is there. His attempt won't fly, and Camby gets the rebound. Marcus Camby in the top 5 in blocked shots, top 5 in rebounding in the NBA.
He's done an excellent job, and again, he's one of the best weak side rebounders, shot blockers, and slashers. He's a tough guy to have to get points from if you go to him on the low post, but he's a good complementary piece.
He's got 4 rebounds tonight. Kurt Thomas, who led college basketball in scoring his senior year at TCU, fanning there.
He led him in rebounding as well. They could use some rebounds right now. They're having a tough time keeping them off the boards.
Another hit outside from Corliss Williamson, who came from Sacramento in the Doug Christie trade. Williamson making his waves felt early in his career, and came from the Final Four champion Arkansas Razorback program. The Toronto Raptors lead by 4, 37-33.
Bologna? Or bologna with cheese?
Looking for something with some zip?
Bologna or bologna with cheese?
Well, Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich with its fiery blend of pepper and spices satisfies that crave.
That one is...
It's always special when you bring your first one home. Chrysler Voyager. Re-engineered and redesigned with dual sliding doors and over 45 standard safety and security features. It's the most affordable minivan you can buy. No wonder it's a Consumer's Digest Best Buy.
I am the
Firestorm cordless multi-tool. I am 3 tools in one. I can saw, I can sand, I can even drill. I'm a one-man construction crew, and that's just the way I like it. I am the multi-tool. I am built by Black & Decker.
I'm the cool cat who read all that. Every book from front to back. I even read the tiny type. I read each one from day to night. I read about that famous flight and was terrified by tales of fright. Every page I did indeed. I'm one cool cat who loves to read. It's not coincidental. Reading is fundamental.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Denver Nuggets on the road in San Antonio tonight. You know, Rafe LaFrance hasn't had a basket in the last 2 games, and it was the tirade that Dan Issel had against the big fella that set off the apparent problems in Denver when everybody sat out practice. But look at Dan Issel and Rafe LaFrance, all smiles in San Antonio. The game is 17 apiece. Is all well in the Mile High City? I know Craig Sager spoke with the horse, Dan Issel. What do you have to say today, Craig?
Ernie, I talked to him before the game tonight, and he said as for Rafe LaFrance, he continues to criticize him only for one reason, because he says Rafe LaFrance has the ability to be better player than he was. I said, Dan, you're a Hall of Fame player. He goes, yes, he had the work ethic. He could be too. It's the work ethic that he questions. Now, remember, Issel played 15 Hall of Fame years, and out of 1,242 games, he played 1,218. He says he wishes the incident was over. As far as the team is concerned, it is. But unfortunately, until they start winning, the questions will continue.
Thank you, Triggs. Sprewell just put in his 7th point. By the way, Denver coming into tonight having lost 5 consecutive games, including a Saturday affair at the Garden against the New York Knicks, and another turnover. That's 8 in the first half. The Toronto Raptors are a team that does not turn the ball over. In fact, they are number 1 in the NBA, Danny, in fewest turnovers.
Right, and New York is number 2. So the turnovers are a big part of both of these teams. They can't turn it over. They don't have great speed and athleticism, so they need to take care of the ball and get a shot every time.
Rice for 3, a 19% three-point shooter on the road is Glenn Rice this year. Switch it over to Vince Carter, who has not taken a shot this quarter after going 4 and 6 from the field in the first quarter. He hasn't taken a shot in the entire second quarter, which to me is amazing.
No, and that's one of the reasons they probably are just going inside so much. Peterson is capable of hitting outside, but if you were to look at the Raptors team, most of the guys that they've been playing most of the game are penetrating or posting kind of players. Until you get Carter in the game or Peterson in the game, they're not going to run a lot unless the younger players are in the game.
Larry Johnson picks up the foul. Antonio Davis has a chance to opt out of his contract, and he says, guys, that one of the main factors for him to stay here will be the decision made by Vince Carter after next season. We talked to Lenny Wilkins today. He said it is a battle to talk players to stay up here, but it's the 4th largest city in North America, a huge media market. What's there not to like?
Well, it's getting a lot like the college thing. What my buddy will do, I will do. But I think Benjamin Franklin is the answer to all of it.
A lot of Benjamin Franklin. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I play baseball here. First of all, the misnomer about the tax issues is there's a lot of states that it's a lot more expensive to live in than Toronto. And second of all, it's a beautiful city, and they're really becoming basketball crazy. Look at this crowd here tonight. I mean, it's a fantastic crowd. They average 18,000 people, and people also think that Vince Carter can make a lot more money in another city. Well, he's making pretty good money now from the shoe contract, Gatorade commercials, everything else.
Antonio Davis missing 2 right in front of the rim. It's Sprewell the other way. Houston wide open, a great fake. Jackson flies by, and the 3 won't go. Hamby is there to vacuum in the rebound.
Beautiful lob.
You know, but what is terrible, beautiful lob. But what is terrible is that both teams, in particular the Knicks, are getting killed on the offensive boards. The Raptors are just pushing them out of the way. They aren't great leapers. They're pushing them out of the way and getting a lot of offensive attempts there.
Mark Jackson, the number 2 assist man in the NBA, coming into tonight. Here comes Carter, who hasn't taken a second quarter shot until right there. Rebound by Camby. And the other way, Allen Houston, the Olympian and all-star Allen Houston after last season. Sprewell tries to create across the lane, hits Houston, and flips it over to a wide-open Larry Johnson for 3. And out of of bounds it goes.
See, the difference in that pass with Sprewell than when he's playing a point is that he looked to score, penetrated, pulled the defense, and pitched it out to the opposite side. And I like him when he's aggressively looking to score more so than when he's trying to set up things.
There's one player the New York Knicks cannot lose. AT&T halftime report is on deck. The scores, the highlights, EJ, Kenny, and Charles Barkley in studio. Next on the AT&T halftime report here. 42 seconds to play in the half. Antonio Davis has now missed 3 consecutive shots, all inside shots. And his Raptors still hanging on to a 39-37 lead. They led by 10 in the first quarter. The New York Knicks had a slim lead in the second of a point. As you take a look at Lenny Wilkins. Shot clock down to 6. Davis with a bad pass to Oakland. And that nicked off a nick.
Well, this scoring is about on par with the last time they played. Very low scoring game the first time around. So these teams both really are playing pretty good defense. New York likes to slow the tempo down a little bit unless they can get steals or block shots.
Mark Jackson spinning on Childs, who blocks the shot. Picked up by Camby. Quick outlet triggered to Houston. Dishes off to LJ. Broken up by Jackson. Makes amends for the loss at the other end.
Mark's not happy getting his shot blocked by Chris Childs down on the low post. He's not used to that.
Told you these teams played the very first NBA game back in 1946. They're scoring like it's 1946. Is digging his way inside Carter. Coming up with it, Oakley. The body's all over the floor, but the Knicks come up with it with just seconds remaining in the half. It's Camby. Sprewell fights for a shot. Double team. Can't get it to go at halftime.
Well, there's a perfect example. Carter should have given the ball up. He saw the double team come and tried to dribble around it. Caused a turnover. He's very fortunate New York didn't hit that last shot.
Raptors lead it by 2. They're shooting 38%. The Knicks are shooting 42%. Let's send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, Charles Oakley, 8 points, 6 rebounds, a lot of loose balls, and also did some officiating there towards the end of the first half. What do you think of the score, 39-37?
Well, I think we got off to a good start. They missed a lot of shots, but, you know, Knicks is a tough team. They always want to fight to get back into the game. It's a good game.
You talked to Kurt Thomas at all before the game or shake his hand?
I told you before, and I have nothing to say to him. I'm just here to play basketball.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Kevin.
The New York Knicks are the #1 defensive team in the NBA. And tonight they've held Toronto to 39 points. The problem is they've only scored 37. We're at halftime, and Toronto being led by the 9 points of Vince Carter, leading the Knicks 39-37. And Ernie Johnson, we send it back down to you in Atlanta.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. It's time for the AT&T Halftime Report. I'm Ernie Johnson. This is Kenny the Jet Smith. This is Charles Barkley. Thanks for being here, folks. It's 39-37. The Raptors at home leading the New York Knicks. Vince Carter, half man, half amazing, as dubbed by the Jet. 9 points, all in the first quarter. And correct me if I'm wrong, there's a little something in his game that bothers you?
Yeah, there's something that actually I've talked about it even when he was in college. The same thing at the University of North Carolina.
Oh, is that where he went?
It's a trend that I kind of see. To me, he lets people off the hook. He doesn't punish people enough with the great athletic ability and a great offensive ability that he has. Right here is a situation where Latrell Sprewell, to take that fadeaway jump shot in the corner, you're giving him a break because you're saying, you know what? You really have an advantage. You're 6'7". You jump out of the gym. So why would you give a guy like that an advantage by taking a fadeaway shot? And he gets into that a lot doing it throughout this season, throughout his career.
I think Ken is right. He takes a lot of bad off-balance jumpers. No need to take those shots. He can get those shots anytime.
No real rough stuff in this game yet, despite a lot of the pregame talk, a lot of that centering on Charles Oakley, who has been kind of saying, hey, look, don't even try to shake my hand, Kurt Thomas. I'll knock you down.
Well, like Eminem said, just a bunch of gibberish.
Who said that?
Eminem. I think that's happened.
So you don't listen to rap, man.
I do. I like rap.
You like rap now.
I like Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, I feel you.
I like DMX and the late Tupac. That's pretty much it.
Hey, you don't like Biggie Smalls? Well,
he's dead.
But yeah, so is Tupac. That's
I'm sorry, you're right.
But we digress. When we come back,
West side, east side.
I do like Biggie. I apologize to Miss Waters. I do like Biggie.
Okay.
We're going to be joined by Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, sort of, next.
Are they going to cry like Al Gore did last night?
It's 39-37. Vince Carter, half man, half amazing.
The
The AT&T Halftime Report is brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
I have always loved this game. It's the only game in town.
Fire, engine one!
Ready for impact!
This Christmas, at the edge of the world, his adventure begins.
I would rather take my chance out there in the ocean than to stay here and die.
Tom Hanks. Castaway, a Robert Zemeckis film, rated PG-13, December 22nd, only in theaters.
So, all you need to do is hook up your Model A43 desktops to a bunch of 148-2 MIPC1 Ethernet connectors. Then you add your 44 GIP stop-to-fiber USB SCSI cables to your eServer's application engine architecture on the LAN Opta branch. You're supporting the Delta, and naturally the whole thing's uplinked to the multi-task.
Fortunately, 3Com's new line of networking products are engineered to be understandable, so you'll quickly figure out how to get the most out of the internet.
Still with me? Good. Because now it gets complicated. You take your Gigaline Hexport Mega switches.
3Com. Simple sets you free.
Now this is the fierce snake, the most venomous snake in the world. One bite from him and it's all over. Yo! Oh, no worries, mate. Luckily, we've had the anti-venom sent from America via FedEx. In my line of work, if you're not absolutely sure, you're absolutely dead. Oh, crikey. It appears we've used a different courier who hasn't arrived yet. It's okay because...
We welcome you back to the AT&T Halftime Report, and if you watch any TV at all, especially on some of the Turner networks, you've probably seen
some bad movies.
The promos for
oh, just kidding.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, like this.
Wednesday, Thursday. The NBA is in the house of TBS and TNT.
The NBA is in the house on TBS and TNT Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Well, little did our marketing folks realize, or maybe they did, that this would catch on as such a national phenomenon. Just the other night.
I sing it all the time, too. Me, too.
Yeah,
when I'm in the shower.
That's a bad visual. Saturday Night Live even picked up on it. Darrell Hammond as the Reverend Jesse Jackson, Jerry Minor as Al Sharpton. Our thanks to NBC and the folks at Saturday Night Live, too, for giving us the permission to use that.
For you to name other stations and me not to name other stations, Ernest?
We're just thanking them for letting us do that. We don't run the other guys' stuff like we just ran NBC stuff.
That was really nice. Wasn't
that good?
That was good. I'm glad that's the first time I see that. That was pretty hilarious. They didn't have a white guy on there, Ernie.
Say what now?
They didn't have a white guy on there.
Well, I don't even know where you're going with that. Anyway.
We got to have a guy. We got to have. They didn't even have you in there. I'm mad now. No, but that was Al Sharpton.
That was Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson.
I know. That'll be us. That'll be us too. Now we need somebody. Ernie, we're a team.
Hey, you know, can we change course here just a bit?
Sure, of course. We got nothing else to do tonight.
I know you're well read. You've been checking out the sporting news.
Yeah, I have.
And the 100 most powerful people in sports.
And I got some questions too with you. I got some questions. Okay, Tiger's number 1. I have no problem with that. David Stern, he's number 4.
Yes,
Ted Turner, we got to kiss up to him.
Again, the 100 most powerful people.
That's right. We got to kiss up to Ted. He's our boss, technically. Never met the man. Michael Jordan. You got to sell the Wizards, man. You're all the way down to 52. Dropping like a rock. If he says 2 words, he can jump up to 1. And all he has to do is say, I'm back. Well, he can't help that team. I don't care if he come back.
He was up at number 35 until they blew that big lead in the fourth quarter the other night, dropped to 52.
Well, this is my problem here. What's the problem? Yes. There's somebody named Mark Lazarus. Mark Lazarus, number 61. You ever heard 61? 61. Whoa! Hey, other than the people in this building, there's nobody else in the world know who he is. I know my mom thinks it's the swimmers, but that's Mark Spitz, isn't it?
He's the president of Turner Sports.
I think I know, but I know my mom. Well, you know him because you were shining the shoes the other day. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my cats. Where are we?
He's just kissing up to the balls. Hey, you know, it's hard to kiss up to the balls. But who is he? I never met the man. Well, the man is, sometimes he's around every now and then. I need to meet him. Okay. But let me tell you something.
I have a feeling you will.
Hey, you'll meet Anna too now. Kournikova is in the top 100.
Yeah.
A-Rod was number 43 before he got the $250 million. That's ridiculous. See, that's the kind of shoes that we need to shine, the A-Rod shoes. I shine the shoes. You know what? I'll travel with a posse if I can be in this posse. No question.
Back with more on the AT&T Halftime Report, if you can stand it, in just a minute. The New York Knicks and the Toronto Raptors. Latrell Sprewell leading the way with 7 for the Knicks. They're down by a deuce in Toronto. Welcome back to the AT&T Halftime Report. Remember, after the Knicks and the Raptors, a game in which someone might actually get into double figures in points. Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai. We'll have a spotlight on the Bucks and also Jim Huber talking about Shaquille O'Neal. Next week, Tuesday on TBS, the Lakers taking on the Heat. Wednesday, a doubleheader, Charles. The Jazz and the Sixers, followed by the Timberwolves and the Clips. And on Thursday, your weekly Knicks fix as they're home against the Boston Celtics.
They got some pictures on somebody down here. Oh, Mark Lazarus. We have to show the Knicks every week because of him.
Good night, folks.
The AT&T Halftime Report was brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
Oh, Vince Carter with another hanger in the air.
Forrester. That's you, isn't it? You're the author.
Bolt the door if you're coming in.
Their genius set them apart.
What makes Jamal's case unusual are his test results.
It's remarkable.
Their friendship brought them together.
Women will sleep with you if you write a book.
Women will sleep with you if you write a bad book.
This holiday season, something extraordinary is about to happen.
Yes, you're the man now, dog.
Finding Forrester, rated PG-13, December 19th in select cities, Christmas Day in additional cities.
This talking picture frame from Radio Shack would make a really cool gift, Howie.
A talking picture frame.
You record a message that can be played back.
I see it's you and your dog.
I say happy holidays. He says ho, ho, ho.
This I've got to hear, Terry.
Happy holidays.
Cool.
Time's up.
What was that?
A talking Casio watch from Radio Shack.
Did it just say time's up?
Yes, and it is. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Get everything you need for the holidays at Napa, like a 21st edition race hauler and a combination tool storage chest.
Stories of pride and passion. Stories so powerful we had to make them into movies.
I will meet our enemies face to face. I will not surrender.
There's been an accident. All hands lost.
I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
I trusted you. I got the loot.
Hitler did not know what took place in the concentration camps. TNT, the best movie studio on television.
Don't miss The Wedding Singers, Saturday at 6, only on TNT.
I am the Black & Decker pivot driver. I'm the screwdriver with a secret identity. At first glance, I'm just a normal power tool going about my business. But when trouble strikes, I snap into action. I'm smooth in tight spots. I'm fearless in faraway places. I make the world more secure. Who says you have to play things straight? I am the pivot driver. I am built by Black & Decker.
And we need your signature here. And here.
Here?
Yeah, and again. Here. Congratulations. On your first home.
Every year, millions of people who dream of owning a home find their dreams can come true.
Thank you.
Call the Fannie Mae Foundation for a free guide to help put you on the path to home ownership and for a list of lenders and credit counselors.
Thousands of bargains on stereos, home theater, VCR, jewelry, clothing, shoes, and more. Sold at the lowest prices ever. This weekend, only the mega sale at Kansas City Market Center. 300-watt kicker-type boxes, $29. Detachable face card CD players, $59. Card TV monitors, $199. Hilfiger embossed jeans, $29. Satellite dish systems, $49. Color TVs, $79. Sterling silver jewelry, 70 cents a gram. Starts Friday, 11 to 9. Saturday, 10 to 8. And Sunday, 11 to 7. Kansas City Market Center. Be there.
He was a cop in Los Angeles. Now he's a sheriff in Arizona.
Where are their legs? That's what we'd like to know. No, you cannot put your dead bodies in my beer box.
And the only thing harder than keeping the peace in this desert town...
Where was I?
About to put some pants on?
...is keeping track of the weirdness.
Butt naked, down on all fours, barking like a dog.
And the weirdest thing? He just might stay.
Hey, you be somebody today!
Manhattan AZ on USA.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use or dissemination of this telecast, or the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Welcome back to the Air Canada Center. This is the NBA on TNT. The Toronto Raptors led by as many as 10. New York has had a 1-point lead. Carter's got 9. Sprewell has 7. And let's send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, during that second quarter, Danny Ainge mentioned that he had played in Toronto. So I wanted to see if people here still remembered. So at halftime, I went over to a card shop. And I said, "You have any memorabilia from Danny Ainge?" And they go, "Danny Ainge, didn't he have a career batting average on the Mendoza line, 220? I go, "Yeah." "How much for his card?" He goes, 35 cents, but if you take 3, it'll be 50 cents. So I took all 3. So in Canadian money, that's about what? 20 cents a piece?
Yeah.
So you can have the first one.
Merry Christmas.
There you go, Coach.
Oh, isn't this
And I know it's at the top of everybody's Christmas list.
Stocking stuffers.
Congratulations.
Stocking stuffers. Hey, I had 2 more home runs than Craig ever hit in his life.
But look at the back here. Major League batting average. Can we get a shot of this? Here is Major League batting average. 220.
Hey, come on, man. I had 146 more hits than any of you guys ever had.
That's right.
Yeah, and 146 more Major League hits than Michael Jordan had.
There you go.
That's right. And did you see Charles taking batting practice in the cage last night?
Yes.
You know,
I like the way this looks.
I look like Alex Rodriguez compared to him.
Were you paid well, like Alex Rodriguez?
No.
These days?
No. I'd still be paying baseball if they're paying that kind of money.
Let's take a look at some real numbers from this game, not some of those inflated numbers from Rodriguez. As the shooting is about the same. Offensive rebounding, 10-4 there. Overall rebounding favoring the Raptors. The turnover story. Carter taking just 1 shot in the second quarter. But in the first quarter, he was absolutely spectacular.
Well, you see Carter, I mean, he shot mostly jump shots because every time he puts it on the floor, why does he settle for these jump shots? Because when he does put it on the floor, the cavalry is coming. Right there, he gets to the basket this time off of a loose ball. But in the half-court set, New York is very well aware of him, and that's the only way he can get a good shot right now, Coach, is shooting those long jumpers.
Well, and he better put some more up unless they change team philosophy on this team. As you know, Danny, in order for them to be successful, and particularly from the outside, Vince Carter's got to put some shots up.
And Craig, how's Vince Carter feeling?
Well, with only 1 field goal attempt in 11 minutes in that second quarter, I thought perhaps his knee was bothering him. He said, no, he feels fine, but they're double teaming him every time, and that he's trying to become a decoy. I said, a decoy? He goes, no, we're just getting everybody involved. I'm fine.
Knicks come in having won 2 consecutive games. New York has won 5 of 6 and 6 of 8. In the month of December, New York is 5-1. They've had some good road wins, in particular at San Antonio last Thursday. In December, Toronto is 3 up and 3 down. We begin the second half. Out there, Kurt Thomas with Camby, Rice, Houston, and Sprewell. And Latrell Sprewell missing another shot and picked up by Vince Carter. The Raptors out there with Oakley, Williamson, Carter, Davis, and at the point, Mark Jackson.
Well, they've got to get, you know, he's not a decoy. He needs to become a playmaker. If he puts it on the floor and double teams are coming, he's got to find the open man, and they got to make him pay. But this is not a good shooting team surrounding him, and that's why he takes a lot of those quick shots. If you put Del Curry out there on the court, Mo Pete, I guarantee you they'd be a little bit more hesitant of leaving those guys.
Thomas beginning the second half. Larry Johnson is not on the floor, conspicuous by his absence. Sprewell across the lane for 2.
Well, and I still like him in that shooting position a lot more than I like him in the point position. As Jeff Van Gundy told us, you know, I mean, particularly with Charlie Ward out, you know, he's got to put him in that position, but he's not just quite certain how to use the rotation once Charlie comes back. But I like Sprewell looking to shoot, and then if he doesn't have it, giving it off to somebody else as opposed to coming down looking to pass and taking his shot in a secondary notion.
Shot clock at 4. Jackson to Davis. That's a miss. Now Toronto has missed 8 of their last 9 shots going back to the first half.
Well, the trouble with that shot, nobody went to the offensive board. In the first half, Toronto had 10 offensive rebounds against the Knicks. And if they're going to shoot like that, they better still push and shove and go to the offensive boards like they had been.
Did you see that pass by Thompson? That was not a good pass. Sprewell was wide open over the top.
Vince Carter gets his first field goal since 3:17 left in the first quarter, and he breaks a 39 all-time.
Well, that's enough of that decoy stuff. He's got to put the ball up if they're going to win. Decoy.
Glenn Rice, who comes in a trade from the Los Angeles Lakers, working on Williamson and missing everything. A very uncharacteristic shot by Rice. It's off the Raptors. 4 seconds to shoot. Craig, what do you have?
Well, you said Larry Johnson conspicuous by his absence. He is out for the rest of the game. He suffered what he says is a right knee sprain in that second quarter, and he will not return.
Interesting. He's been playing well, too, of late, especially in the game against Denver on Saturday. Here's the breakaway. Williams glides in for 2.
Well, that just can't happen. You can't have a guy come back in transition like that. Nobody is back. But getting back to the Larry Johnson thing, he's one of the Knicks' toughest inside threats on that team, and without him being in there, the outside shooting is going to have to pick up.
And Danny, he gives him so much presence as Sprewell tries to dig inside.
Well, Larry Johnson is an inside presence. Also, he's an outside presence. Again, he's one of the best fourth quarter players they have.
Technical foul thrown on the New York Knicks bench. As that leader, that presence that the Knicks rely so much on, Larry Johnson, is up. Did they give it on Johnson? Did they give it on Sprewell, or rather on Sprewell? They gave it on Sprewell. And here's Mark Jackson, the ex-New York Knick, Clipper, Nugget, and Pacer at the free throw line.
Well, Sprewell was probably upset about that drive to the basket. Carter went for the steal. He had the open drive to the basket, but closed up very quickly by Toronto. And I thought that was a good no call. That could have been an offensive foul every bit as a defensive foul right here. Van Gundy.
It could have been on Van Gundy, too, because he almost became the 6th player for the Knicks out on the floor.
Well, he picked a good time to get the technical. He stopped the other team's fast break.
Do you ever think it's a bad time to get a technical?
No, I think most technicals are good. They make you feel better.
They initially put it on Sprewell, but now they have changed, and Van Gundy has been given the technical, but Sprewell initially was slapped at the tee.
I think I can understand why they gave it to Van Gundy.
Yes.
He was within the 3-point line.
Jackson to Davis. Another miss. Carter comes out of no place and tries to save it, but knocks it out of bounds.
See, but that's terrible, Kevin. Even though he knocked it out of bounds, they're getting to the offensive boards by pushing and shoving and getting in. The Knicks have got to stop them from getting to the offensive boards.
Jackson is on Sprewell, pokes it away, gets the steal. A New York Knicks turnover with Jackson coming the other way and locating Oakley. Knocked away, picked back up by Jackson. Shot clock at 15 for 3. Carter. Rebound by Davis. Triggers it to Oakley. Another 3. Rebound inside is torn down by Kurt Thomas.
Well, there again, they got out power forward shooting the 3. But right now, you know, Carter's trying to get going offensively. You can see that he wants to be aggressive, but every time he catches the ball, anything inside that 3-point line, they're running at him and double teaming and making him give it up.
We are almost at the halfway point of this third quarter, and the most points by either team, 45. It's 45 to 39. The Toronto Raptors, a sloppy game, 36% shooting by Toronto. And the Knicks are shooting 40%. And a timeout taken on the floor. Raptors trying to beat the Knicks for the 2nd time this season.
Well, it's Christmas time, everybody. But it's raining in my heart. Yes, it's Christmas time, everybody.
It's special holiday shopping days at Pep Boys. Get $15 or $30 in merchandise certificates free with purchase. 3 days only, December 13th, 14th, and 15th. 627 locations nationwide. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Just a bit of magic. Oh, you gotta see it. Some like
the unexpected, perfectly perfected.
Digital palm quarter with 3-way PC link from Panasonic.
Oh, just a bit of magic.
Imagine this map is the internet, and all these streets intersect to form an information superhighway. But not everyone has access to an on-ramp.
Everybody ready?
Yeah. Tim Duncan and the Spurs know that technology is the fast lane to the future.
Let's get online.
So they've donated computers to schools in their community that connect students to a whole new world.
Oh, what happened?
And this will help them to cross the bridge right over the digital divide. Team up to improve your community.
The NBA on TNT, brought to you by Daytech Online. Believe it or not, all online brokers are not the same. Daytech Online, built to trade. And by Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
Toronto comes into tonight having won 2 of their last 3. The Knicks have won 2 consecutive and 5 of their last 6. Kevin Harlan, Danny Ainge, John Thompson, Craig Sager. The Knicks have the same 5 out there, minus Larry Johnson, who is not beginning the second half. Craig Sager told you, a bad right knee. And on the bench the rest of the game, Kurt Thomas taking his place and missing that shot with Oakley getting the rebound.
Well, that's the place they would want him to take the shot, too. He probably can hit that shot, but in the same token, they have to establish more of a physical presence. I don't blame Van Gundy for getting the tech, because I think if the game becomes very physical, it's to the Raptors' advantage, because they've been doing an awful lot of pushing and aggressive play.
Shot clock is at 5. Carter, double team. Thomas corrals the loose ball.
You know, everyone is wondering why the scoring is down in the NBA, why the shooting percentages are so down.
LJ, when it happened, I'm coming to the truck to see if they have it.
But field goals this quarter, as you can see.
But the biggest thing is just the amount of non-shooters out on the court. And you can see it in this game. You got Charles Oakley's and
here comes Carter for takeoff. With the steal and the jam at the other end. Danny?
Well, you got so many guys out there that aren't outside shooters taking a lot of outside shots, and that's why the scoring's down. That's why the shooting percentages are down.
Whoa, look at Kurt Thomas glide down the lane.
See, and that's an advantage. The Raptors got out on that break, and the Knicks didn't have anybody back. When you have that big lineup, a lot of those big players, Danny, are not accustomed to rotating back in the guard positions because they're not their normal positions, and then the other team gets a transition basket.
Carter wheels around a couple, feeds to Williamson with the beautiful reverse, coming in on one side, popping up on the other.
And again, it was an offensive play set up by Carter. They're putting so much attention on him. He drew 2 defenders and got Corliss Williamson the easy opportunity. Great finish by Corliss.
Sprewell trying to work on the smaller Jackson. And Lenny Wilkins told us today that was going to be a tough matchup for Mark, who comes the other way and will set up, guarded by Houston. Now, Sprewell does not guard the point guard.
No, he doesn't usually. He usually guards the best player on the other team, whether he's a point or 2 or a 3. Right here, it's Carter. But I don't think Van Gundy likes this lineup. They're not playing with any sync. I think they need to bring, here he comes, Chris Childs back in the game. It's just no rhythm on their offense, and they're very stagnant trying to post up Sprewell in the point guard position every time down the court.
Houston will check out. Chris Childs will check in. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Toronto quickly kicks it up to Davis. 6.5 to play in the third. Carter in a pool of Knick double teams most of the night. Oakley. Jackson for 3. Rebound offensively by Davis.
Well, and again, you know, I don't want to keep saying it, but the Knicks have got to keep them so that they don't get second shots like that. And particularly wide open, because that's his shot. I mean, he stands out, he's shooting an old-fashioned set shot.
And Oakley's got 10 points, 5 of 8 from the field against his old team. Toronto has equaled their biggest lead of 10. Now, 51-41. Rice will fire the 3, and right down the middle for Glenn Rice. We told you he has not shot well above the arc on the road this year.
Well, Glenn he's a shooter, so he needs a few more touches. You know, we talk about him spacing the floors and his importance, and Van Gundy said that he's a much better defensive player than he ever thought.
Davis wide open inside Williamson. Good defense by Sprewell, who came out of no place, and Childs leads the Knicks the other way.
The definition of a shooter is a guy that even if he misses, it doesn't bother him at all. He still wants a lot of attempts.
That's called the Ames factor, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Rice fakes the 3, slithers inside, chiseling room, and a foul. Williamson hit the deck hard, and that look tells you all you need to know, and he has picked up his 4th personal foul. unless they give it on Davis. And both were defending, and now there seems to be a question as to who it was on.
Number 41, Rice, shooting 2.
Switched it and put it on Davis, and that is his first.
Well, right there's Davis and Williamson. They could have called it on either one of them or any one of the three.
And here's Rice at the line, 85% shooting from the free throw stripe. Tonight, the Knicks at the line, 5 of 5, a perfect 5 of 5. The Raptors, 6 of 7. Danny, weren't you talking earlier that the Raptors are averaging 8 more free throws a game than their opponent this year?
Yeah, New York does a good job of keeping their opponents off of the free throw line, though, and so Toronto does a good job of getting to the line, but they're not losing that battle tonight.
Camby leaping over Oakley. Those two were traded for one another. And the nice rejection by Camby. Under 5 to play in the third. By the way, that was our first foul moments ago. First foul of this third quarter.
First foul, Cole.
Yes, right. Sprewell to Camby. Slashing down the lane. What a play by Camby.
It looked like he closed his eyes from this angle. He went in there and just kind of ducked his head and flipped it up there and went in.
Well, I tell you what, the way those big boys are hitting you in there from the Raptors, I think he ought to close his eyes when he went in.
Great finish by Camby. Again, a great weak side offensive player slashing in there. That was an excellent finish.
Oakley has 3 fouls. He was the one that collides with Camby. And the Toronto Raptors, who have led by 10 twice, watch their lead cut down to 51-47 late in the third quarter.
Go, baby, go. Bradley, spin up the middle, go. Right, he's going to score. He's in. Dude, he's totally in the open. He's going to score.
This magic moment.
Oh.
So different and so new like any other. Until I touched you. And then
Hey, you know what this game needs? More cheerleaders. Oh, yeah. More cheerleaders.
Get everything you need for the holidays at Napa, like a 113-piece toolkit and a set of 8-foot booster cables.
Oh, no! The city of Townsville is under attack! This is a villain so evil, so sinister, so vile! Evil, evil, evil! You're insipid! 500! 500! You're sucking mouth! Go, girls, go! Silly monkey! Haven't you been watching the Powerpuff Girls? Part of Cartoon Fridays! Hooray! We're safe! Only on Cartoon Network.
Grandma's pumpkin pie with Robert's dairy whipping cream. Aunt Julie's twice-baked potatoes with Robert's sour cream. Mama's chocolate walnut fudge with Robert's eggnog on the side. Family holidays with Robert's Dairy. Make memories come alive.
Roberts, how do you make it taste so good?
What do you think of the jacket?
And for 10 seasons, Charles Oakley was the enforcer for the New York Knicks. Then in June of 1998, he was traded to Toronto for a young and lean Marcus Camby, who is the Raptors' first-round pick and the second overall pick in the draft back in 1996.
Well, and I think it was one of those trades that was great for both teams. You see, the Knicks have had great success with Camby. They were having great success with Oakley. The Raptors were 46 and 118 with Camby. Even though he led the league in shot blocking in 1998, they needed some veteran leadership on this team. New York needed some youth with the aging Patrick Ewing as well.
Yeah, and be careful talking about aging, because we have George Foreman sitting to your right just about 3 places, and he's the great supporter of the aging.
Yes, he is. And he can eat well, too, as we saw by his delicacies there moments ago. Jackson, Childs are matching up. Camby's against Davis. Thomas has Oakley. And here's Carter. Guarded by Sprewell. The dance by Carter. 4 on the clock. The ball was hit by Camby. Retrieved by Child. Sprewell for 3. Fakes it. Rice for 3. Rebound inside once again by Antonio Davis.
Well, a very unselfish play on Sprewell's part. You know, in a lot of instances, a guy with his ability would force that because he can shoot on balance.
Man, what a shot by Carter.
Well, people keep saying, I wonder why he shoots those fadeaways. So far, that's the only shot he can get on his own. But again, this team is going to be great when he puts the ball on the floor. Carter becomes a better decision maker, and they become better shooters around him because I'm telling you, they're flooding the paint with 3 guys when he tries to drive.
Carter shooting a career high 48%. Another New York Knicks turnover. Remember, these are the top 2 teams in the NBA in fewest turnovers committed. Now there are 5 New York Knicks turnovers in this quarter and 10 for the game. Williamson rejected inside by Camby. Bats it right back to Jackson. And Oakley finds Davis, who looks inside. Williamson again. John, every time Williamson is sneaking inside.
Well, he's very tough inside. And that's his natural position in there offensively. He loves to go in there, uses his body. He's got great body strength. He played that way in college.
Outside, there's a miss by Chris Childs. Childs only shooting 39% from the floor. Jackson, beautiful feed to Carter, who is stripped of the ball inside by Childs.
I love the duel I'm seeing out here between Vince Carter and Sprewell. They both are really playing one another completely tough. I mean, they're getting on each other. When Vince Carter beats Sprewell, Camby is there, and that was a great pass by Mark Jackson when he went back door.
So here's Carter at the free throw line, a 83% free throw shooter. He is the best at that he has been in his 3 years in the NBA. Now, he has always been known nationally as a great NBA player, but when he was in grade school and in junior high, he was a first chair saxophonist and worthy of awards. Not bad. Now he's the first chair in the NBA.
Made the right decision.
Yes, he did.
I like the way he bows, though.
Yes.
I can say that to my son Cooper at home now, who's taking the piano. I say, hey, look at that. Even Vince Carter's playing instruments.
Yeah, and he's going to tell you, forget about it.
Luke Longley is in the game. Longley missing the shot. Rebound by that great saxophonist, Vince Carter.
Well, that's what I'd like to see him do. He's got so much ability and jumping ability to get in defensively, offensively, get a little bit more involved. He's a little too passive right now in this game.
A miss by Oakley, a rebound by Longley. In the rebounding category, it is 40-25. The Raptors lead New York by 15 rebounds. Childs scoops it to Camby, who flies outside the lane and cuts inside and is fouled. Tell you what, Camby can detonate in a hurry when he gets down that lane into the hole in a hurry as Oakley picks up his 4th personal foul of the game.
And I'll tell you what else. The Raptors are extremely physical. You know, he's going through. He's going to make him pay for that. You know, and he really grabbed him.
I mean, if that's not a flagrant foul, I don't know what is in the league. I mean, they may know it's in. I mean, I agree. I don't have a problem with it, but they changed the rules to call those flagrant. I mean, I've seen a lot less contact called flagrant. He made no effort for that ball.
Well, and I think that's what Van Gundy got the technical foul because Sprewell early in the game drove and they hit him. And Van Gundy knows that the Knicks do not want to play a physical game.
There's Jeff Van Gundy. Now in his 6th season with the New York Knicks, Childs picks up the foul, trying to work on Mark Jackson coming the other way. And Childs is tagged with his 2nd foul.
Well, that may be a call to set the tone of the game. I think the referees may realize it's getting a little physical, so you make a quick call like that because really that didn't merit being called. But it's smart because of the fact that he probably wants to clean this up a little bit.
Longley has put in a couple good games for the New York Knicks. Fouls Antonio Davis, who drives that baseline. Longley played Tim Duncan, I thought, pretty well down in San Antonio a week ago tonight, and then had a good game against Denver Saturday at the Garden.
Well, Luke is 7'2", 290 pounds, so he can take up space. And against big guys that don't have great quickness, it's hard to move Luke out of the way. Tough matchup, though, with Antonio Davis. just because of the quickness factor.
Tough matchup with Tim Duncan, too, though.
You know, he's done a good job. When I was coaching him in Phoenix, he did an excellent job against Tim Duncan almost every time we played. He made him earn his points.
Well, he's an owner. You know, he played for the Australian national team in the Olympics. That's where he hurt his knee. And he is part owner of a team down there. Under. Here comes Childs. Houston is in, and it is picked up by Corliss Williamson. 10 on the shot clock. Climbing inside is Houston. Knocked away by Davis. Picked up by Jackson. 4 on 2. Jackson scoops it off. Williamson is called for the charge.
Great defensive play by Childs. They can't afford another injury to the point guard right there. Great defense. Anticipation, get in front of Williamson to take the charge, but he's hurting. Looks like his wrist.
I think something lower than his wrist, mister.
Wrist. And that's a good way for the point guard to get hurt, to try to take a charge as he's doing here with this big fella coming down.
Every man knows that pain. On top, they got Houston.
And every big man knows when a little guard gets in front of you, you make him pay for taking that charge.
Which we just saw. And here comes Houston. Trying to take it inside. Knocked away again. Another New York turnover. 3 on 2. Jackson leaps. Willis catches. But can't get it to go. Davis gets it, and Willis again. Rejected by Canby. Picked up inside by Williamson, who pulls the trigger and puts it in.
The offensive rebounds are killing the Knicks right now. Toronto is just so active, and they're after every ball.
New York is a horrible rebounding team, especially on the offensive end.
Well, that's inexcusable to an extent because you've got to attack, but the thing you've got to do with the Raptors is you've got to meet them with force because they push rather than leap on you.
Oh, how about that dancing two-step, that Australian two-step by Luke Longley?
Is that what you call it?
You can score, Danny, right?
Yeah, he can make that shot. Luke's got a nice touch around the basket. Doesn't have great foot speed, but he can make a shot.
Must be hitting. They keep him on the bench a long time.
Well, the only reason he's in this game is because Larry Johnson is injured. They have Luke to play some post defense against some of the better big people in the league.
Childs leaning into Williamson, finding 2, 58-52. Raptors on top by 6. Childs off the bench with 8. His teams look windy.
I like Chris Childs because of the fact that he creates action. A lot of times he loses his temper, but I just like the fact that he puts good pressure defensively. He causes a lot of excitement out on the floor.
That's another foul called on the Toronto Raptors. Shoving people inside was Williamson. He's got 5 personal fouls, and that causes headaches for Hall of Fame coach Lenny Wilkens.
Well, you know, Williamson's had a nice game offensively here, but this is a good guy to bring into the bench. Morris Peterson's did a nice job defensively in the first half, and that's supposed to be his weakness, but provides a lot of energy for this team. Probably would have been coming in to start the fourth quarter and finish the game anyway.
Nice steal by Jackson, trying to beat the buzzer. Short and missing at the end of 3. Toronto has led by 10 twice. New York has had a 1-point lead at one time. Vince Carter goes in for 8 points in the third quarter after being shut out in the second. And Carter and the Raptors will take a 58-52 lead to the fourth here at the Air Canada Center in Toronto.
I'm worried.
Why are you worried?
This.
It's a bottle of wine. They're for my people.
A very expensive bottle of wine.
I have very good people.
I'm still worried.
You're always worried.
I do the books. You pay me to worry.
Trust me, we can afford it.
We can?
We can.
In that case, champagne would have been nice.
For people who are extremely demanding, the new Schick Extreme 3. Triple blade performance, pivoting action, a perfect grip. And best of all, after a whole bunch of great shaves, you just serve up another one, which is extremely convenient. The new Schick Extreme 3.
My George Foreman grills, America's favorite grilling machines, are #1 on everyone's list. Moms want them, dads want them, grandmas want them, even college kids. It's great for the whole family. Start the new year out right. Knock out the fat for healthy meals that will be appreciated every day. Fish, chicken, steaks, even veggies, they all come out tasty. My George Foreman lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine. Find them in all your favorite stores from coast to coast. It's a real knockout package.
Well, it's Christmas time, everybody, but it's raining in my heart. Yes, it's Christmas time, everybody, but it's raining in my heart. Well, you know that I love you, baby. Tell me why must we be apart?
So, they'll get off the bus, pick out the car they want, be on their way in seconds.
We'll call it Fast Break, our fastest way to rent a car.
Can we get people from the airport to their car quicker?
We can if we give everyone jet propulsion packs.
I like the Fast Break idea.
That's a great idea. I like that one. Okay, let's go with that one. Wow.
Let's take a look at tonight's budget. Rent-A-Car Fast Break. You see the points, but the rebounding story, John, is pretty interesting.
Well, it's very interesting. I think the biggest thing that, when you look at this thing, that you look at is the fact that the Raptors are very, very physical. If we're not careful, this game is going to get a little ugly here. And I think the officials sense it. I think they're doing a great job in changing the way they started out calling it and getting to the point of cutting a lot of this pushing out.
58-52 Toronto. Let's send it over to Craig Sager.
As we begin the fourth quarter, I'm with Toronto's biggest fan, two-time heavyweight champion George Foreman. What do you think of the game so far?
Oh, I love it, man. Vince Carter. I'm waiting on my man Yogi Stewart to get in there, though. Mark Jackson is my favorite player. And, of course, you've got to be a New York Knicks fan if you're a basketball fan. So I'm having this is all you want for a birthday party.
All you want, Jim? All you want to eat at halftime?
I'm telling you, all I want to eat, but all I want in a basketball team.
All right, now, first of all, you have a book here. Yeah. Have you sent one? It's on grilling barbecue. Have you sent one to our studios, to Charles Barkley?
Oh, hello, Barkley. How do you do? Man, I'm going to belly bump you. I heard you gained some weight, too. I love you, though, every ounce of you.
There have been rumors to that effect. Now, according to John Thompson, you're a very young 51. Only 51. Why not another comeback?
When you're more afraid of what your wife is going to do to you if you box and what Mike Tyson would do to you in the ring, it's time to quit.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy the game, Kevin.
All right, Craig. Belly bouncing. I like that. Belly bumping.
A lot of belly bumping going on out here on this floor, too.
That's right. Thomas inside, whirls around Carter and finds two. Raptors lead 58-54.
Well, big advantage by Thomas down on the block right there. No help came from any of the Raptors.
Carter, quick catch and fire. Man, oh man.
He said, I'm shooting this rock before the double team's coming.
He's got 19.
He's tugging his shirt. I don't know if that's a sign that he's tired or what.
I think he was saying he was held.
I think he was saying, give me a few more of those jumpers that he just
Rice with the miss. Shooting in the game, 41% for the Knicks. 36% shooting for the hometown Raptors. Carter's got 19 points in the game. You can see how that has been spread out. Shutout in the second quarter.
I think he's got to get more attempts. You know, they don't run an equal opportunity offense. If you look at his attempts, even though he's missed 5 games, he's taken far more than anybody on his team. But if you look at the first half, he's pretty much balanced as far as attempts are concerned.
And there's a perfect example. If he's got to make better decisions, he puts the ball on the floor, runs into 3 defenders.
Sprewell knocks in a 3, and the Knicks tonight have hit 2 threes. Toronto 3.
Well, Sprewell's only shooting 27 coming into this game. That's his second big 3 right there.
Alvin Williams beginning the second part of the second half. There's a shove and a foul. It's called on the Toronto Raptors with some shoving inside, and Kevin Willis was called for his first.
Well, and I give Jeff Van Gundy credit for that, because I think he hopped on it enough that they were being physical. They were setting strong screens. They were pushing under the basket. And a coach does that to get a call later on. That shows that he did an effective job, even though he picked up a tech.
Van Gundy.
Are you saying that coaches can influence officials?
I didn't say anything.
Timeout taken. The Toronto Raptors have led by as many as 10. And now they lead by 3 with 9.5 to play in this fourth. 60-58 Toronto.
I'm worried. Why are you worried? This. It's a bottle of wine. They're for my people. A very expensive bottle of wine. I have very good people. I'm still worried. You're always worried. I do the books. You pay me to worry. Trust me, we can afford it. We can? We can. In that case, champagne would have been nice.
This is what we're talking about with Vince Carter. He puts the ball on the floor right here because he's pressured. You can see 1, 2, 3 Knicks all around him. 7'2" Longley contesting the shot. Terrible shot. He's asking for a bailout by the officials. He needs to pass the ball to an open teammate.
Now you advocating pass.
I'm advocating pass when you're covered, when you got 3 defenders. It's not like the Kevin McHale rule. You don't get 6 points if you have 3 people on you. That's why he didn't think he should pass.
But guys with his ability can take shots that look difficult. In a lot of instances, it's hard for them to even tell when it's a bad shot.
Sprewell down the lane, knifing his way through traffic. The Knicks are on a 9-2 run the last 3.5 minutes after Toronto had a 10-point lead, and 5 fouls now on Charles Oakley, who picks up that one, which sends Sprewell to the free throw line.
What gives you the, excuse me, Danny, what gives you the impression that Oakley may commit like 10 fouls a game?
Oh, I love Oakley. He gives everything he's got every night. He's a guy that coaches love to have. Leader on the court, leader in the locker room, comes to play every night.
Well, I was very impressed with how Lenny Wilkins said that the leadership that he gave that team, both on and off the court, and that, you know, he was just so grateful for his presence in the locker room as well as his presence on the court.
I really like the way Childs, when he's in at the point guard, he really disrupts the other team's point guard out there, and their defense becomes much more effective, and that's why Van Gundy has been so reluctant to play a bigger guard lineup with Charlie Ward and Chris Childs in the game, because their defense is where they really miss that point guard pressure.
Well, and I think it's those little intangible things, Danny. As you look at Charlie Ward on the scan and you talk about Charles, I mean, Charles being out there, those big guards can handle the ball maybe well, but those little intangible things that guards know about, rotating back, and a lot of little things are left out when you put that lineup in.
Well, when Sprewell has been playing the point, the team is 6-2, but I think Danny's right. Charles has given him a different feel tonight. And here is Sprewell now playing the shooting guard, guarded by Carter. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Houston to Thomas. He's wide open to fire and buries it from outside.
Well, that's a great shot by Thomas right there, and he's wide open from the inside the top of the key. But again, the point guard, you know, we talk about the big lineup, and they're 6-2 with that lineup, but realistically, Childs has been playing about 26 minutes a game since Charlie Ward has been out. So they still, the majority of the time, play with a small lineup.
Carter was defending well. The Knicks have their first lead since 29-28 back in the early stages of the second quarter. And a foul
on Kevin Willis. He thought he was going to call it on Thomas at first.
That's exactly right. That is the second on Willis. 8:20 to play in the fourth quarter. The Toronto Raptors trying to beat the New York Knicks for a second time this season.
What'd you get for 26? C. 68 and 74. C and C. 57. C.
Pencils down.
Right down the center. Not so great for taking tests, but great for collect calls. Dial 1-800-CALLATT and you can save big bucks.
How'd you do on the test?
Now 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
The concert event of the season comes to TNT. See Mark Anthony, Jessica Simpson, Brian McKnight, The Course, and Chuck Berry. Hosted by Sarah Michelle Gellar. Christmas in Washington. Sunday at 8 p.m. Only on TNT.
All new Ford Focus is really turning heads. But there's lots more to admire than just its styling. Focus has the most interior space in its class. It's fully equipped, gets great gas mileage, and comes with a very attractive deal. Low 5.9 financing. No wonder Focus was the North American Car of the Year. It's definitely worth a look. Ford Focus at your Midwest Ford dealer.
It worked! Hey, kid. It worked! I got one!
Everything all right?
Oh, he just got his first phone call. Oh, he was on Roadrunner.
Roadrunner High-Speed Online runs over your cable line, so it won't tie up your phone when you're on the internet. Know someone who recently got connected?
I remember my first call.
Call them. They'll be thrilled.
At least he's wearing his robe.
That's true.
Thank you!
Roadrunner High-Speed Online. Let's go.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta, updating the San Antonio Spurs and the Denver Nuggets playing at the Alamo Dome tonight. We've already told you about Rafe LaFrentz, who has struggled lately, and he's having a good game tonight. Got 20 points as they play in the third period at the Alamo Dome, and the Denver Nuggets, who have been miserable on the road, just 2-9, are hanging in there. In fact, the game is tied 67 apiece midway through the third. Let's get back to Air Canada. Kevin, John, Danny, Craig.
All right, EJ, Denver's lost 5 consecutive games. Danny, you were talking about an interesting aspect of leadership last night.
Yeah, I don't understand why they haven't had the leadership. You know, a team with good leadership would never allow them to boycott a practice. You know, Phoenix came off a hard road trip. Scott Skiles gives them the day off, and Cliff Robinson organizes a voluntary practice. Everybody on the team shows up. They all shoot because they're not playing up to their capabilities. That's the contrast of the two teams. And Rafe LaFrentz did play bad against Boston. He deserved to get yelled at.
Well, I think conflict is a part of the communications, and communication is the solution. You don't boycott a practice. If coaches and players have conflict, you sit down and you talk about it as they do.
Allen Houston with the miss. Rebound by Kevin Willis. He is one of 17 players in NBA history with 15,000 points and over 10,000 career rebounds. Raptors have missed 10 of their last 12 shots. And they go from Jackson down low to Oakley, playing with 5 fouls and working on Thomas. There is a hatred between these two, which Craig Sager told you about, and that ball is slapped out of bounds with 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, and that's the first ball that Charles tried to post up. Most of the shots that he's been taking are jump shots, and Thomas has an advantage on him as far as height is concerned because he's not a leaper.
Jackson looks. Gets Oakley knocked away by Thomas. Retrieved. Another turnover. 3-on-2. Sprewell flies and fires on the run. Rebound by Alvin Williams.
Oh, we talk about the toughness of Charles Oakley, and he's got that reputation throughout the league. But I'll tell you one guy who will never back down from anybody, and that's Kurt Thomas. He loves this kind of challenge. When he was a rookie, he played in the playoffs against Dennis Rodman. He didn't back down from him at all. So he's a tough customer as well.
Even though there's the ill feelings, the things that they both need to be commended for is that it's been nothing really nasty out here, Danny. They're playing hard and aggressive, but it's been clean so far.
Yes, you're exactly right. Willis missing at the other end. Approaching 7 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. Allen Houston works on Alvin Williams. Sprewell trying to free himself from Carter. Thomas again left open on top. Shot clock is down to 4. Out of bounds it goes. It stops 5 seconds on the shot clock.
You know, we can talk that big guard, Sprewell playing that one, but I love it when I see he and Houston filling those wings and getting out and running. I love it offensively when they're the recipient of the passes as opposed to making the pass.
Houston for 3. The miss right there. And notice no Glenn Rice on the floor. This has been one of the interesting stories in New York. He has not played many fourth quarters of late. In fact, he has missed 4 of the last 6 fourth quarters. He's played 2 minutes in this fourth tonight, but basically he is absent and on the bench, as you see.
Well, you know, Glenn, he's not deserving the minutes in the fourth quarter. I don't see a guy that's playing. Now, he might be saying, hey, I should be getting more shots or getting more minutes or more touches or whatever. But the bottom line, he's got to play better to earn those minutes.
And I think that has a lot to do with what Danny said about Childs. When Childs comes in the game, he plays the one, he puts a lot of pressure on the ball. Sprewell rotates back along with Houston into the other positions on the wing and the off guard.
Oakley taps away the rebound to the Knicks after the Carter miss inside, and here comes New York. Is Longley having an effect, Danny, on this game with his size?
Yeah, his size. They've cleaned up the boards. You know, Luke is not a great rebounder as far as going after rebounds, but he takes up so much space in there, and he does a good job. He allows the athletes to go get the ball.
Here's Sprewell, double teamed and rejected by Kevin Willis. Picked up by Williams, gets out of a thicket of Knick defenders and takes it the other way. Toronto is 1 of 9 shooting in the fourth quarter. Double teamed again is Carter. Jackson, touch pass to Oakley. Nice ball rotation. The spinning top is Williams. Outside, Willis, and can't get it to go. They're 1 of 10, and Willis is 0 of 6.
When Alvin Williams wants to be a spinning top, but you don't want to spin to Campbell, one of the best shot blockers in the league.
Top 5 in the NBA, you're right. Houston knocks it in over Jackson for 2. And the New York Knicks build the lead to 3. This is their biggest lead tonight.
Well, good recognition again by Childs right there. Came down the court, saw that Mark Jackson was defending Houston, knew that he couldn't contest that jump shot.
Williams to Jackson for 3, off the rack and picked up by Carter. Another offensive rebound for the Raptors.
Those are the tough ones when they shoot the 20-footers and they bounce all the way back.
Intercepted, and then Houston was bear hugged by Jackson.
Well, that's the new breakaway rule. They should get 1 free throw plus the ball.
Good call.
Well, the interesting thing about that, when Carter was looking to penetrate, but the floor was locked because there was no movement. Oakley was on his right and Jackson was on his left, so the help was there.
So Rice remains on the bench in the fourth quarter, something we've seen in 4 of the last 6 fourth quarters for the New York Knicks. Jackson picks up his second personal foul. The Knicks are up with their largest lead tonight of 3 as Jackson pleads his case at the Air Canada Center.
XR this holiday season, and Honda will give you a gift too. $100 to spend on anything at the dealership.
Surprisingly, many online brokers use very little online technology. They simply send your order to Wall Street, where it's processed the old way. Daytech Online, however, has created powerful technology that lays waste to the old guard. Is your online broker even trading online? Daytech Online, built to trade.
Michelle Kwan versus Sarah Hughes. Todd Eldridge battles Alexei Yagudin. The countdown to Salt Lake City continues with the Pearl Vision Canadian Open. Be there Sunday at 1, only on TNT.
Log on to the NBA store on NBA.com for the widest array of NBA products. Find the hottest basketball merchandise anywhere, including everything the players wear. Available online 24 hours a day. Now you can order the perfect gift for basketball fans. The official NBA Encyclopedia offers information on your all-time favorite players and takes an in-depth look at the rich history of the NBA. If you're looking for the hottest NBA merchandise, log on to the NBA store on NBA.com.
Welcome back to the Air Canada Center, where you see Glenn Rice with his warm-up on. Once again, not playing so far in the fourth quarter. I talked to him before the game. I said, do you understand your role with this team? He said, I understand it, but I don't like it. He thinks that his role is better suited to be a driver, a penetrator, and to go to post-up moves, which this offense does not allow him to do. He says he is not a spot-up shooter. He also thinks he was lost the last 2 years in L.A., particularly playing in the triangle. Now, remember, this is a 3-time All-Star in Charlotte with a 20-point career average, who's only getting 11 points a game here with New York Knicks. So he does want to win, But he also knows that he can contribute better offensively with another team. Kevin?
Yeah, right, Craig. Career starter until now.
Yeah, career starter, but he's got a championship ring averaging 17 points a game. He's on the third best team in the East right now. He never won anything averaging 20 points a game, and he won't.
And he's making $14 million.
Well, and most players don't like their role unless they're scoring 40 points or winning. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Coach wants a player to try to do more and to try to be more aggressive. But I don't know, and Jeff Van Gundy said that today, I don't know many players who like their role.
Glenn Rice is a great player, and he's a shooter, and he's the guy out there spotting the floor and spacing the floor, but he's not a great offensive creator. And, you know, he's only shooting 39% this year in the fourth quarter.
Sprewell puts it in. He now has 16 points. By the way, Houston, when we came back from that break, was at the line. It was not a technical. It was a clear path foul. And here's Jackson. And you can see the drought for the Raptors, missing 8 in a row. Oakley will break the drought, fill the cup. And the Knicks now have their lead cut down to 4. That breaks an over 6-minute drought by Toronto.
Well, Oakley's doing a little on-court leadership. Lenny talked about his off-court leadership, but to take that shot at this point shows his courage.
Childs with the miss. Jackson with the rebound. Down by 4, approaching 4 minutes to play in this fourth quarter.
Well, this lineup, it's going to be very difficult for the Carter to get open. They don't have any shooters on the court with him. You can see they're trying to post Corliss Williamson against Allen Houston. But when he puts it on the floor, someone else is going to have to make a shot.
Maybe it's Jackson with a good fake by Houston, looking inside. Camby knocked it away, and it's retrieved by Latrell Sprewell.
You see, Coach, there's another opportunity, a steal with a chance to run. Houston was out. Teams in this situation constantly in the fourth quarter refused to run, and I don't understand that. They had an opportunity to break right there for an easy 2.
Well, in particular, the Knicks who have Sprewell and Houston, who are very great creators with the ball. If you get them out on the wing, get them the ball early, you don't have to get the layup. They can get the shot for themselves.
Houston had the miss at the other end. Houston and the defense of the New York Knicks have watched Toronto cough it up 18 times in this game. Remember, Toronto, #1 in the NBA in fewest turnovers. Oakley hit as he fires. The pass, no. And a technical foul on Childs on top of that.
Childs was just frustrated. He wasn't throwing the ball at anybody. I've seen that done a lot of times and not a call. I think that the official thought he might have been throwing it at somebody. He was just throwing it because he was stupid by fouling Oakley on that jump shot.
Right, he's also stupid for throwing it in the direction that the official was in.
That's like a Roger Clemens right there.
Look out, Mike Piazza.
You'd have a hard time convincing me that he wasn't throwing it at the official. He just didn't throw it accurately.
You're exactly right, but nonetheless, it's there. The statement was made. Longley will now leave. Thomas, Camby, Childs, Houston, and Sprewell. Rice remains on the bench. Oakley at the free throw line. Oakley's been playing with 5 fouls for a long time.
You know, this lineup without Rice in, Rice would be back in if the big lineup was more successful. But because Childs has come in, made a difference, Van Gundy is going to stick with the smaller lineup. And plus, without Larry Johnson in there, that's why Kurt Thomas or Camby is in the game. And Camby, you know, by the way, has only made 4 baskets in the fourth quarter the entire season. 22 games, 4 baskets. That's amazing to me.
Tonight he has 4 points and 12 rebounds. As you take a look at Larry Johnson, as Craig Sager told us at halftime, he decided he could not go the rest of the way because of a sprained right knee. And sure enough, he has been on the Van Gundy sideline the entire second half. They miss him incredibly. 3:17 to play. The Knicks holding on to a 2-point lead over Toronto.
The Pretender is on TNT. This is so cool. One of the best shows on television is on TNT 5 nights a week. Watch The Pretender every weeknight at 7 on TNT.
Believe it or not, many online brokers still rely on the technology of yesteryear. Is your online broker even trading online? Daytech Online, built to trade.
I'm worried.
Why are you worried?
This.
It's a bottle of wine. They're for my people.
A very expensive bottle of wine.
I have very good people.
I'm still worried.
You're always worried.
I do the books. You pay me to worry.
Trust me, we can afford it.
We can?
We can.
In that that case, champagne would have been nice.
Refreshing as a mountain stream. Busch. Head for the mountains of Busch Beer.
With Daytech Online, most trades are executed in mere seconds. In fact, Daytech pledges to execute your marketable online order within 60 seconds or the commission's waived. Find out more at Daytech.com. Daytech Online, built to trade.
The Toronto Raptors have been trying to improve their defense throughout the season. Fourth quarter defense has been pretty strong.
Well, the Knicks have done a great job in their fourth quarter defense all year. These guys have been together. They know Jeff Van Gundy's system. They know his defensive schemes, and that's what's carried them so far in the fourth quarter, only holding teams to 20 points a game. That's awesome. And tonight, you can see 2 for 12.
Pushing 3 minutes to play. Both teams have been flexing their muscles with that defense tonight with low-scoring games. Sprewell with a spin, and down it goes for Sprewell.
That's a big-time move right there. The whole defense came to stop him. Very aggressive. You could see his eyes just light up. He really wanted that ball and that opportunity.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Chris Charles has to be in that point position, because you have to put him in a position where he can be more aggressive.
Williamson inside, shuffling across the lane, picked up by Davis, collides with Thomas. Childs was in there as well, and a foul.
Well, another example of them getting pushed around inside and getting the offensive board. And usually when you get the offensive board, as was the case as we see here, the guy who receives the offensive rebound usually is fouled. And you can see he didn't leap. He just pushed his way in, grabbed it, and usually out of frustration, somebody fouls that man who gets the offensive rebound.
Childs picks up his 4th foul. 4 free throws shooting down the stretch, too, by the Toronto Raptors has hurt them, although they're about 13th in the league in that category. Second half free throw shooting has been dismal. Now they come to within 3 of the Knicks with 2.5 to play. Childs, Houston, Canby, Thomas, and Sprewell, the Knick 5. Jump ball, nice defense by Vince Carter with 2:28 left.
Tough pass. You know, Sprewell starting on the weak side, sprinting into the low post from the other side. There's got to be an easier way to get him the ball into the block.
Shot by Carter, picked up by Oakley. A 3 will tie it.
You know, it's interesting, Danny, that Lenny said that he dreaded Sprewell's movement without the ball as much as he did his with the ball.
Toronto 2 of 13 shooting in the fourth quarter. Double teamed is Carter. Whacked by Canby, who is defending. And Canby picks up the foul. That is his first of the game. And our stat track tonight, taking a look at field goals attempted and free throws attempted.
Well, and that's a big one right there, keeping Toronto to only 14 attempts. They're averaging 8 more than their opponents. Again, we talked about the Knicks shooting the least amount of free throws, so they've done a good job of holding their ground against Toronto.
Carter with the drive, hits the side of the backboard. It's Oakley to Jackson, and the shot clock buzzer goes off. Had he knocked that in, he could have tied the game.
See, that's what Carter did last year in the playoffs right there. He's trying to force the shot. The team's not making shots, so he's trying to take it upon himself, and the whole defense is geared to stop him. And yet he doesn't have anybody to bail him out that can shoot on the perimeter when he does kick it out.
Toronto has 6 turnovers in the fourth quarter. Childs to Sprewell. Shot clock approaching 10. The drive on Carter. The great fake by Sprewell, but the shot won't go, and the rebound by Davis.
Carter got away with a foul right there. He hit Sprewell on the elbow as he went up for that jump shot.
Well, when you're looking at this offense, Carter wants to score, but everybody on his left and right are standing and locking the floor. He's got to do that, split people in order to get get to the basket. He has only one option, the shooting option, or forcing something between help defense.
Look at how hard he has to work to get this shot off. They're trapping him on the pick and roll. He splits it. He gets by those two guys. Here comes a 7-footer to block his shot. That's, you know, they were talking about at halftime, you know, with he keeps bailing everybody out. That's the only kind of shots he can get.
Carter 1 of 2 from the free throw line, now 2 of 3. Carter was shut out in the second quarter. 20 points tonight. Carter is the second leading scorer in the NBA coming in, averaging 28 points a game. He now has 21. 1 minute and 20 seconds to play in the fourth in a 1-point game. Houston with the fake and Williamson. Rejected by Antonio Davis. Swats it out of bounds.
Great defensive play by Davis right there, but I like that matchup. I think Houston could create offense against Williamson anytime he wants.
Both teams are playing defense. A rejection by Davis in a 1-point game.
Guardalo, guardalo. Torna dalla mamma. Non è la tua pistola, dai, la mia, stai giù con le gambe, difendi. Ok, vieni qua, prima lezione. Giù con le gambe e gli stai addosso.
Lascialo stare, lascialo stare, lascialo stare.
Basta, è impossibile bloccarlo.
Non ti preoccupare, adesso cambiamo le squadre.
Va bene, dai. Ok, adesso la palla è mia.
Dove vai? Dammi la palla. Questa è la mia casa.
I'm worried.
Why are you worried?
This.
It's a bottle of wine. They're for my people.
A very expensive bottle of wine.
I have very good people.
I'm still worried.
You're always worried.
I do the books. You pay me to worry.
Trust me, we can afford it.
We can?
We can.
In that case, champagne would have been nice.
I'm really surprised that Williamson's out there guarding Houston right now. And if they're going to go to Carter, they got Williamson on the weak side for the shooting.
Back at the Air Canada Center, that's the timeout story. And Danny, let's break this down. You take New York, John, you take Toronto. What about the Knicks, Danny?
Well, the Knicks right now, they got to get the ball in the hands of Sprewell or Houston. I really like the matchup with Houston against Corliss Williamson. He's got 5 fouls on him, plus he's much quicker.
Shot clock is at 8. What about Toronto?
Well, Toronto's going to go to Carter as the first option, but I don't like the fact that they're not moving in their offense because he's got to force a shot or shoot a long 3-point jump shot.
Ball is knocked out of bounds. 3 seconds on the shot clock. 1:03 to play in the fourth quarter. Knicks lead 68-67. The New York biggest lead tonight has been 3. It's Thomas. And Childs off the rim, picked up by Thomas. A rare offensive rebound for the New York Knicks. Dead last in that category in the NBA.
Well, they got away with what the Raptors have been doing. Thomas gave him a little nudge and got that offensive rebound.
Houston to expand the lead. He cannot do it. Another offensive rebound by Canby in New York.
You want to remember that Van Gundy said he likes Houston at the top of the key at this time of the game, and he likes Sprewell on the wings, and that's exactly where both of them are right now.
Oh, look out! Here comes Carter. Johnston with Sprewell. Knocked off his horse by Sprewell, and a foul. The second called on Latrell Sprewell. Carter will go to the line with his second big steal tonight.
Well, that was a great defensive play. And that's the kind of thing you like to see out of these great players, is playing the whole game. Great defensive anticipation, comes over and helps on Houston, makes the steal, and then takes it down and finishes. Good foul by Sprewell.
Exactly. Even though he made the foul, I love the effort that Sprewell used. He chased him down and went right after him.
Carter for the tie. From the free throw line tonight, 4 of 5, New York. Without Larry Johnson in the second half because of a sprained knee. Now Carter for the lead. And a timeout taken. The New York Knicks will take it. They'll have 1 timeout remaining. 24 seconds remaining in the fourth. Pandemonium inside the Air Canada Center.
While there are a lot of places where people buy parts for their car, the fact is more people choose AutoZone than any other. It's because we're the largest auto parts retailer in America, and they save money with our everyday low price. It's because more often than not, we have the part they need in stock. And it's because we're the place where they'll find a battery that's backed by a 3-year free replacement guarantee. Which is why we say there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Camera, please. Okay. You are a lioness. Very sexy, very sensual. Like a cat. Make love to the camera. Yes, again. New camera, please.
Want a better way to save money? Dial 1-800-CALLATT for collect calls and you can save big bucks. Saving money. Not so great for fashion shoots,
Maybe you should have used a flash.
but great for collect calls. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Couple free throws by Vince Carter, 69-68. Raptors on top. Next week on Turner Sports, big games. The Los Angeles Lakers are in Miami to face the Heat. We will be there on TBS. Then followed by Wednesday games, Jazz and Sixers, Wolves and Clippers. Thursday, Celtics and Knicks.
Well, right here, Rice is coming back into the game, which is a great move by Jeff Van Gundy. Got your best offensive rebound or weak side slasher in Camby. The ball is going to go to Sprewell, in my opinion. Maybe Houston against Corliss Williamson, but I'm going to Sprewell right here, trying to create something.
Well, you're right,
for the shooters.
and even if Sprewell penetrates, you got two great shooters out there now on the perimeter in Houston and in Rice, and he has some options.
Maybe they'll run a pick and roll and try to create a switch for Sprewell.
Here's Sprewell on top, picked up by Carter. Camby to set the screen, the quick double. Shot clock at 10. Knicks are down by 1. For the lead, Childs. No, picked up by Carter. 4 seconds remain. Free throws by Toronto coming up.
Well, New York still has an opportunity. This game isn't over yet. If Toronto makes both free throws, they're still down 3 with 4 seconds. That's plenty of time to get a three-point shot off. New York looked a little out of sync on that offensive execution.
So Vince Carter in the last minute has made a steal, hit 2 clutch free throws, come up with a big rebound right there. He has authored a wonderful settling effect for this Toronto team.
Well, I think Danny called it. I think the intent was to put the ball in Sprewell's hands and let him try to create, because both Houston and Rice were fanning out in the corners, looking for penetration to help and get it out there.
Once again, the shot and the miss by Chris Childs.
That's a good shot by Childs. He's a good shooter. Good look right there. But, you know, if they want it to Sprewell, they're running a pick and roll with Camby's man, who's going to trade him because they don't, or trap him because they don't respect his offense.
And the Raptor lead stays at 2. The rebound by Thomas, who just came in the game to take the place of Rice for that very reason right there. He gets the rebounds, 3.5 seconds remaining. New York's ball down by 2, 70-68. What about Toronto's huddle?
Well, Toronto right now, you don't want to give up a 3. I've been in this situation before. It didn't work out so well. But I tell you right now, this is a situation you want to make them earn it. You don't want to put them on the line. You don't want to give them wide open looks at 3s, but you can't foul and put them on the line.
And you can pretty much guess who's going to try to take the shot. They're going to, again, I think as Danny said, try to get the ball in the hands of somebody like Sprewell, who can penetrate, who can shoot off balance shots, or get a quick shot from somebody like Houston, or get a shot from Rice. But you got to be careful because you have only 3 seconds to go. And they offer penetration. You got to go quickly. You can't just penetrate and let the clock run out and try to pitch it out.
This would seem to be a perfect time for Larry Johnson, who has hit so many big shots in his career.
It's interesting, you know, Sprewell and Larry Johnson are the 2 guys on the team, along with Kurt Thomas, that shoot the best percentage in the 4th quarter. So I got to believe Van Gundy right here. Again, I like the matchup of Williamson defending Houston, but Sprewell's had the most success so far.
3.8 seconds remaining. Childs to inbound, caught by Houston. Knicks have to hit. Houston for the lead. And Toronto beats New York again. We were talking about how teams played great fourth-quarter defense. New York was held without a field goal the final 3 minutes of the game. New York missed their last 7 shots down the stretch. Big plays on defense and offense by Vince Carter. Let's send it over to Carter with our Craig Sager.
Well, Vince, the game going down to the end. A chance for New York to win it on a buzzer beater. You're the leading scorer with 24 points. But talk about your defense. They did not have a field goal in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Well, they were doing a great job on us defending us and just making us take tough shots. So we had to buckle down about the last 5-6 minutes and said, if that's what they're going to do to us, we have to give it back.
You went through a drought. They outscored you 18-4 at the end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth. What did you feel personally you had to do?
Just take our time as a team. You know, me, I just stick with the game, just love it, and just continue to play.
People talk about the lack of rivalries in the NBA. Is this a big one now between New York and Toronto since they eliminated you guys last year?
I don't know. It's nothing said, but we just go out there and beat the hell out of each other and just go out there and try to win. You know, they love to win. We love to win, and when we get on the floor, it's a great battle.
What about some of the help you got tonight? I asked you at halftime if you were a decoy. You said they were double teaming you.
Yeah, so I just have to be a great passer, and it's a beauty because these guys have confidence and they can also hit shots.
Well, you're smiling after a very tough, tight game. Congratulations.
I missed the free throw, so I owed him one.
All right, good defense at the end. Let's go back to Kevin.
Second time this season in 2 meetings, Toronto, which lost in the playoffs last year to the Knicks, have beaten the New York Knicks in the regular season this year. The first meeting by 4, tonight by 2. Now, Toronto has won 3 of their last 4 overall, and they've beaten New York 5 consecutive times in the regular season. Once again, the final score, Toronto 70-68. For John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager, our producer, Albert Bertino, our director, Lonnie Dale, our associate director, Rodney Vaughn, and the rest of our crew, Kevin Harlan, saying goodnight from Toronto.